bit. We're going to be a little bit inconsistent because Mike's going to be a couple minutes late probably, and I haven't actually heard from Star for a few hours. I assume she's going to be here. She's not one to not be like deliberate or anything. There we go. Let me get you that link. Let me make
Beautiful.
Sure let me make sure that's going to work by hitting the. I do this for a living, and I do it all the time, and I still don't do a lot of. I still don't do a lot of live.
Yeah.
I probably should.
Is this coming at me via Twitter?
I was going to do Zoom chat, but Twitter works
sure.
too. I'll send it there.
Either way, it's all good. Oh no, I see it there. Okay.
Awesome.
I'm still figuring out Zoom and how its chat comes in and all that.
I see.
There we go. All right, all good.
Bet. Let me send it here for Daniel. Where is he? I have to get all bent out of shape and squirrely and say mean things about people's moms,
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I would not do that.
Of course. Was that a Squirrely Dan reference?
Maybe. To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
to be fair.
To be fair. That's right.
Okay, now I know I'm among cultured company.
They harmonize exceedingly well. The first time that happened, I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, whoa. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I'm in. What season are we in? Man.
Goodness, I've lost track. I just kind of dip in and out.
Oh wow, yeah, we're watching that in a pretty straight line. What season are we in right now? Season 6. We're in the middle of season 6, and I'm not sure about the last couple. I don't know.
I obviously it took me by storm just as much as anybody else in those first ones, but I mean, I do got to admit, I feel that they kind of fall victim to that classic thing that many entertainers do, where they just kind of keep hitting those, the big hits. They keep going back to these tried and true, gimmicks and retorts and all that.
Yeah,
and
right. The stuff that's easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like kind of after a while, you don't want to say it gets old because the banter is just still great. Like the banter is what makes that show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna sound like a jerk probably to some people because now I'm live and I have to watch what I say. But I do. After several attempts, I do not like Supernatural, the TV show. I don't understand the appeal. And I want to understand it. I have friends who love it, like my friends Tom and Tracy, who I would like. They're like my best friends, right? I'd give one of my hands, and if it meant they needed, if they needed one, and they love Supernatural, and I don't get it.
No, I'm right there with you, and I've tried so
But
hard.
the banter between Dean and the other one, was really great. Like
I've actually never gotten around to that one myself.
I can totally. Hey, Daniel made it. Hey, your hair is, and he's gone. Apparently, I can't talk about his hair. I've put my foot in my mouth. We were gonna have it, Dan. Oh my, that was fast. I don't think I've ever offended somebody that fast. Holy crap! It must be a really big fan of Supernatural. That must be it.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to grab some notebook paper.
Yeah.
Star always looks so nice, and I'm wearing a T-shirt, looking like some kind of like I look like a screw up.
Now you're fine. You look comfortable.
I try to be, yeah, yeah. I promise to stand up at some point, so I'm not doing this in my underpants.
So I want to apologize. I didn't realize that we had switched from Central Time Talk to Eastern Time Talk. So I was like,
That's
oh yeah,
okay.
I can make it by 6. And I was like, see you in an hour. I'm like, okay, we can make it. We're just gonna have a lot less time to look at stuff beforehand.
That's okay. So everybody's here except Ed. I should suppose we should do introductions. The one with glasses who is not me, or the one in the top left here. Actually, there's no promises. You have that rearrangement. The one with glasses in front of all the bookshelves is Mike, right? The only badass woman on the channel right now is Star. Unless there are badass women like in your background somewhere that I can't see, in which case I'm gonna go with this one is Star. Ty's the one in the white and black chair with the other guy with glasses. The guy with white headphones and glasses is Jake, who I just realized is wearing glasses. The guy who makes the book, right? And his stupidly talented must be to put up with all the chaos that comes with the Kickstarter. Internet guy is Daniel right here.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, hey.
hey.
Yes.
And the drunken washout badass that is Ed should be here anytime. I actually don't know if he's drunk or a washout. He seems like the kind of guy who parties.
You know what, though? If you know him in high school,
Yeah.
you would have thought that. Ever.
No. Now, does that mean he wasn't then and he isn't now, or he changed?
He changed.
I see. Yeah. See, lots of people do that. I'm the same old guy.
Probably the better. I mean,
I'm wider now, but I'm the same guy I was when I was 12. Except for the part where I looked very much like a woman when I was 12. Glad I got over that. If you want to look androgynous, that's fine, but I feel like it should be your choice to make. And I wanted to look like a dude, and I didn't. So, anyway, there's my awkward. I feel
realized I didn't
nervous.
give myself a weapon, so hold on.
Just yell at people. It's 5e adjacent, right? So you can use what is that?
Just mockery.
Yes, right. Which is
Yeah,
I yelled
there
at
you go.
so-
Yep.
I yelled at you so much you literally took damage from it. Why not? Like if looks could kill, they'd be dead or at least damaged.
So yeah, did everybody have a pretty easy time making their characters? Anybody need a little insight on anything that I might be able to provide?
No, I'm just going to apologize several times over that I'm going to slaughter some of these words.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Same.
So I'm probably gonna get my name wrong. So let's just start.
Gaelic is such a fun language to try and learn because it has no Latin or Germanic or well, I mean a little bit, but not enough. Like you can learn Latin and then use that to learn a bunch of other languages, and Gaelic will help.
Yeah, no, it's definitely off on its own there. I picked up what I can, so I'm gonna whatever I wind up saying. I'd like to think maybe is something close to the mark, but no
Yeah.
judgment. Everybody just make their best guess, and I don't know if you feel like trusting me. That's kind of at your own peril.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to like put extra emphasis on your words or anything, but I handed you my money and you're making this book. You have to. I'm just kidding. Like,
Well, you can at the very least you might notice that in one of the appendices in back is a whole pronunciation guide.
I
It's-
love that
Yeah.
so much, and there are whole books on the subject, and you managed to encapsulate most of what they cover in a fraction of the page count, and
Oh.
that's amazing.
Well, I would say
Seriously, I
it's
recommend that book for that section. The whole book is recommendable, but I'd recommend it for that section alone. It's genius.
Thank you. But yeah, it really is just kind of barely scratching the surface, of course. It
Right.
really is just as far as the actual pronunciation goes, hardly gets into grammar, anything like that. Grammar is
true.
honestly still kind of a mystery to me.
I have a couple of Gaelic friends, and man, and a lot of the languages, a lot of people in the island don't speak the language anymore.
Right.
So it's kind of a dying art form, and like they're native speakers who've never left the island, and they speak some of it. Like, so I feel like as a person on another nation across the ocean, the expectation that you have mastery over the grammar is anyone who would have that expectation over you is just being unreasonable. That's
Right.
ridiculous.
From what I understand, it's something that's like offered in it's like given in grade school. Like everybody like goes through their ABCs with it when they're kids and whatnot, but then it's kind of quickly forgotten by a lot of them.
Jake and Daniel, I'm gonna need your names, your hit points, and your armor class.
All
For
right.
sure. I am Rourke, Lightning Stand, and I've got an AC of 19 and
Okay.
71 hit points.
Oh my god. Okay, cool beans. And Jake, what have we got there?
I am Fergal MacTorin,
Yep.
Feely Druid, the Aishi, and my AC is 12,
Okay.
and my hit points are 91.
Did I hear that right? 12?
12 and 91. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, just checking. And would you punch your name into the chat so I can punch it into my notes?
Sure. Yeah, one sec here.
Hey Ed, you made it. Yay. I missed you there for a second.
Yep, sorry.
Hey, thanks. Ed, you know everybody at this point except Daniel and Jake, who are the two geniuses behind the project. There's the big
Excellent.
surprise.
Hello.
I will
just
try
think-
not to butcher.
Hey,
Hey.
Nice
just didn't-
background.
That
Thank
is
you.
very cool.
I actually
I-
took that picture in
Ooh.
Scotland.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's my
Very
favorite
cool.
picture from my trip a few years ago.
Nice.
The Garnshield Ridge, if you ever want to look
Oh.
it up.
That is cool.
Is that over in the west side, getting into the Highlands there, or whereabouts?
It is kind of between Aberdeen and St. Andrews ish.
Oh,
So yeah, probably Southern Highlands, more in the
right.
Southern Highlands Speyside area, kind of
Yeah, kind of.
Eastern Highlands, whatever.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think I get that. I need to really brush up on my Scottish geography. Well, I don't really need to, but now I'm going to make a point of it.
It's real easy to do. It's not really that big.
Yep. Yep.
Daniel, would you punch your character's name into the chat so I can make sure I get that right?
for sure. For
Thank you
sure.
very much. And I was gonna change Star stuff over, but she's already done it because she's making me look lethargic and slow.
No, this is just the third game I've played this week, so I'm remembering to do it.
Making me look bad. Cut it out. I
No,
don't
I'm just
do-
trying to help my DM by not needing him to remind me to do things, because that's going to be enough of that later on today.
I appreciate that.
Right.
I wasn't expecting it, which always catches me off guard. It's weird. Like positive change is good. That's why it's positive change, but it's still change, and I'm opposed. Like,
And I'm always willing to just pipe up if you need a quick reference on any of the rules or anything.
you bet, Mike. You are still Ronan, or are you somebody else now? Somebody else now, right?
No, I am Aiden now. Just one name, Aiden.
Like Bono. Okay, you bet.
I decided that I would go to a different class because it just sounded more interesting to me.
Sounds good.
I
Yay!
I
change
am
and all
now
that.
and I don't know how to pronounce it. And Aishi.
AC.
You got it.
Okay. And Aishi, I'm also a druid, a Philly druid. So
Nice.
yeah.
All right. Got some kindred spirits here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Am I the only one that remained a masochist?
Masochist.
I decided to take huntsman and have 2 hounds. So I
Oh,
have a lot to keep track of.
yeah.
That's fine. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. So I understand that these two have like places to be, right? So no shade. I just meant I have to point that out because we can't like take forever. So I was gonna plan for a 4-hour table. Now it's a 3-hour table, and again, 0 shits given or anything. People have lives, but that means that I should do quick introductions because we're live, and then like move on with everything. So let's start with Oren. I'm gonna guess Oren. Like, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are as I zoom the camera in world down on you?
Okay, so sort of a vagabond type. Probably think more in appearance like Black Irish. So, super pale, white skin, dark hair. He is a warrior poet.
Mhm.
So he's like, loves spinning his tales.
Okay. So
And
look
that-
it up. Excellent. Fergal, your turn.
So Fergal is basically just kind of a elderly chap, really crooked over, long wizened beard, spooky shaman looking type with all these bone totems hanging off of him and everything. Deer skull on top of his head with the antlers just kind of spreading wide over him like a weird headdress. Doesn't say a lot, but when he does, it's usually something incomprehensible.
Okay, sounds good. What does his everyday life look like? What is his everyday like? Where am I going to find him in an afternoon?
Usually in the nearest glade conducting ritual as a high-level druid. He's, kind of high up in the affairs of the other druids and the gods and other such things. So
You bet.
he's always reading a portent or conducting a sacrifice.
chicken bones and blood and yeah.
Yep.
Riona, what? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So Riona is a huntsmaster of the, I lost the name of it already, of the Fianna. I think I said that right.
Yep.
So she is a huntsmaster who also has 2 hounds named Ronan and Nora that follow her around everywhere. As she's a furbolg, she has the braided hair, the neutral colored clothes, and she is currently on her kind of outside quest outside of her tribe to learn a little bit more before returning home so they can continue on with their traditions.
Excellent. You bet. Rourke, tell us a little bit about, yourself.
Yeah, Rourke is a wizened older Aishi who has a large ornate staff inlaid with gold, and he has robes with nice interplaying like gold and silver trim, and they're white and pure looking, and he is kind of somebody who likes to go around and teach people the culture and the ways of the area, and often tutors like different rich families, and he kind of isn't about taking shit for people. So, or I don't know, can we cuss here?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, cool.
I usually
Yeah.
say that as come as you are. If you don't swear
Okay.
a bunch, you don't have to start.
I
If you
won't.
do, you
I
don't have
won't.
to stop.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay.
I once interviewed a guy I really, really like. He's a poet, big fan, and he's very much like a wasp. His understanding of like letting it all hang out is to undo the very top button of his shirt. That's it. And one day he said, "Can I swear on the show?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And from him, that seemed like an odd request. I've interviewed him for the second time. I've known him on and off for years. I didn't know that was ever going to happen. And then he promptly like cussed out his mother-in-law for like 5 minutes at the top of his lungs.
On
Like,
the show.
Whoa, you're right there on the show. Holy crap. Where did all that come from? It
Man,
was awesome.
that's
So-
awesome. That's great.
So if,
He waited for a public platform. That's-
yeah, lost his mind. for
awesome.
5
Take
minutes.
this, Karen.
Yes.
Holy crap. I swear all the time, and I'm turning
Yeah.
colors. I'm like, holy crap. So yeah, if you swear, you don't have to stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Man,
Callum, what about you?
Callum is well, he's kind of a depressed guy unless he's drinking, which, slancheva, anyone? He likes to drink a lot. His family was pretty strong clan, and they were the leaders of the clan, but there's not many of them left, so he kind of has a little bit of survivor's guilt. Callum's pretty stupid, but thinks he's charming.
Would it be safe to call him the Irish Johnny Bravo?
Yes, it would.
Fantastic.
That's my inspiration. He is a blessed champion.
nice.
And he's pretty.
Yes.
You
Ooh, I'm
bet.
pretty.
Aiden, would you tell us about yourself?
Yes, so Aiden is probably about mid-30s. He is also Black Irish, darker hair, pale skin. He considers himself to be a protector of the forest. So he spends most of his time there. And many people come across him, but may not recognize him because he spends a lot of his time in animal form, just kind of roaming around, prowling and patrolling the forest. And anybody that comes in and tries to harm the forest or any of the natural creatures or anybody there, he is the first on the site to stop them and protect those that are in danger. And he also helps innocents that are traveling through the forest that may have gotten lost or are being attacked, and kind of mediates in that area.
Excellent. You bet. For those of you just turning into the stream, I don't know if this is going to be popular or anything, but it's entirely possible that people are watching the stream that are not familiar with why the stream is happening. That's a twofold reason. One, because actually threefold. I like these people. That's reason number one. Reason number two is because it's for a brilliant Kickstarter that just ended, but I understand there'll be a second one for the Heroes of Tara campaign setting, which is a mythic Iron Age Ireland setting that is brilliantly well written and researched, and holy crap, it's a great book. Also, we're gonna play it, so that's exciting. There you go. There's my shameless plug. I don't have shame, none of that. Screw that noise. So I don't know if you know each other yet, but you do all know from your various trades, whether it's you picked it up in a bar or you're a druid and you know stuff, right? That sort of thing. That the island faces oblivion. There is a crazy Gale. Lots of people think he's possessed, right? Because no self-respecting Gale would want to blow up the entire island. But that's what's happening. Dermot McMurrow is planning to eliminate the entire island. He has a fairy stone somewhere that he's charging with arcane magic. He's gone out of his way to like leave arcane schlop all over the place to make it difficult to pin down where that is happening. So it's not really up for discussion that the island's going to blow up. The problem is you got to find him to stop him. There you go. How do you want to
Sounds
go
like a
about
bastard.
So is there you say he's empowering a stone. Is there just one of these, or are there like maybe several sites around the island where this might be? Do we need to determine its exact location before we?
So you would have to while fairy stones do permeate the island, presumably he would need a large one to charge it with. It literally need to be large enough to contain that degree of energy. While there are less of those that are that big on the island, there is more than one. Yeah.
Right.
The largest collection of them appear on the hills of Tara themselves, where historical reference for one day giant castles will be built. I actually don't know if they've happened at this point in the history. Let's say they haven't, because if they're underneath a giant castle, that changes everything. So let's not do that.
Right.
Are we kind of called together as like a council of like people to
like a
deal with this?
fellowship?
Or like,
And my dogs.
maybe
I do have an axe.
or like yeah.
I hadn't really thought of that, but yeah, that's a great idea. I
Okay.
mean, we probably can't use fellowship. League, like some sort of club or something. Like, but yeah, I don't see how come you wouldn't already know. And you're all so in order to meta level for a second, in order to make sure that they had the opportunity to use their big epic 9th level craziness, both the ones that come in the traditional player's handbook and the ones I made up for the setting, I made sure that everybody's level 17. So presumably then you're incredibly epic warriors who have done stuff in the past. I don't see any reason how come you can't have run into each other already. The island is not that big.
Very true.
So yeah, sure. Now here's a question. If you were going to try and narrow this down, how would you do that? Are you familiar with the island? Do you have somebody you know who might be? Let's pick up with Callum. What do you think? You don't have a whole ton of like magical friends, right? Because you're, a human.
No, I'm just kind of a depressed alcoholic, but but I am happy when I've got some drink in me. I
But
do
you
hear a
won't
lot
if the
in
island
the
gets
tavern.
blown to hell.
Right. They're gonna take out my favorite tavern, my favorite pub. So yeah, I mean, I would imagine I'm sitting in there long enough, and as long as I'm sober, I hear some stuff. So
Okay, you bet.
maybe I know that it's on this one section of the island because of that.
Okay, sounds good.
Some weird things are happening.
You bet. Probably safe to make what do you think? History roll for that?
That would be a bardic verse in this setting.
Sounds good. Oh yeah, that's right. This setting has 3 or 4 skill checks.
4. We got a bardic verse, Brehon law, druidic lore, and chariot driving. The first 3, they all actually replace. Well, they not 1-for-1 replacements, but history and arcana and religion are all actually taken out.
Right. So I realize they're not done yet, but I'm super excited for when the character sheets with those changes occur.
Yes.
Because it means I don't have to put digital whiteout on a 5e character sheet. So I'm
Yeah.
very excited for that.
Thanks
Just
for
write
bearing
it
with
by
that for now.
hand. It makes
Oh,
it so
yeah.
much easier.
Yeah,
This is regardless, this is an intelligence thing, right?
Right.
You realize you're asking probably the dumbest person here. However, I did roll well.
Now, when you say well, you mean for you or like
For
on
me.
an objective level?
For me, I rolled well.
So like a 7.
No, no, I rolled a 19 and I have a
Wow.
-1 on that. So
You bet.
I don't know how I did that. That's going to be the last one, but
Obviously Johnny Bravo's magic. Obviously.
yeah, he got lucky
Yeah, right.
because he's so pretty.
Yeah, right. The fates were like, "Oh, sucker." Well, here you go.
Mhm. Well,
Um,
bless your heart if they're Southern.
Yeah, right. Right. You precious thing. Right. So you being the person that you are with the I'm gonna be generous and call them connections. The people that talk in the spaces you're in,
Mhm.
right? People talk. And Dew is a particularly cranky fairy. If any fairy was so inclined that he would curse a gale to blow up an entire island, it'd probably be that guy. He really hates you. So lots of Aishi take it personally. The pact that kind of squeezes them into the ground. But most of them have kind of come to live with it and don't want to lose. They wouldn't want to lose the island. Dude's crazy. He doesn't care. He's like, you know what? If I can't have the island, nobody can have the island. He says stuff like that all the time, and the Gales go out of their way to avoid him. Lots of fairies have a certain degree of maybe I'll screw you today, maybe I'll be nice to you tomorrow. Dew is pure trouble. The good news is makes him easy to find since there are big roadmaps that go away from him on purpose. He has a house and everything.
Is he just kind of an extremely able and powerful individual, or does he have like a network, or does he have
Oh, he's an
followers?
individual. Even the other fairies go, whoa, dude, simmer down.
So no followers or goons that we might know of.
Yeah, I mean, other fairies are aware of him in a way that Gales are not, but they're not his friends. No.
Right. Okay.
Let's see, Rourke, what do you think?
So Rourke is kind of gonna be like discussing on the sides with whatever other members want to be kind of involved. He's gonna be saying like, yes, this Dermot's always been a problem. Dermot's always been causing issues with this pact. But many of us are so happy to see just the island survive in the way it was and to retire mostly to the other world. I personally like the other world more than this one anyway. Well, I know a lot of us, I recognize many other magical individuals here. Does anybody have ways of quickly getting there or obtaining more information?
Well, let's see here.
I punch pretty hard.
I can totally see how that'll come in handy at some point. Also, pardon the pun, punch handy. That was an accident. I can't be held responsible for that.
Once we
The
leave
accident.
society, I become a lot more helpful.
Let's not waste time in society then. And then I'll like start walking off in the general direction towards this guy.
You bet.
Herman.
Oren, what do you think? How would you go about solving this? Well, Dermot is presumably cursed or possessed or whatever word you like better. He's also, a person. So
Yeah, I
do
mean,
you just murder him? Do you talk to him? You got to find him first. I understand that. But I mean, how are you looking at this?
I think we're trying to say I'm going to murder Hobo this game too.
No, I'm saying you had a really bad day and you might take it out on an NPC.
I mean, definitely type of guy to more support like what my allies do, but sort of a little bit further back.
Okay, you bet.
So, I mean, obviously kind of being who I am and just sort of like a wanderer. Surely I've heard of this guy before.
Oh yeah.
While I personally don't drink, though nobody probably believes that, I definitely excel at getting others drunk.
Okay. Would it be safe to say that you and Callum know each other then?
Slanche, brother.
I would take that as a yes. Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good. Riona, remind me what you are again. You're not a druid. You're a
No, I'm a fenid. I'm a huntsmaster.
right.
So I guess and I'm gonna slaughter this word, a rig fenid.
No, you got it.
Rig fenid. Okay, so I am a rig fenid, which means I'm a captain of a Fianna. So I have a little bit higher connection, and maybe I would use that ability to like send out to see if anybody else has information from other fenids about Dermot.
You bet. Feel free to make a check for that, but do so at advantage because it's the thing you're particularly good at.
Okay, what kind of check would that be?
Investigation, unless you have something you'd rather use.
I mean, there's stuff I'd rather use, but we'll go with that one because that is appropriate. Let's see, and I get so that would be a 16.
You bet. You know that if there's any and one Aishi that can like hook you up
Oh,
with a location and all
Wait,
that.
I get to re-roll ones on ability checks. Let me try that again.
Ooh,
Okay, that's going to be a 19.
Nice,
with,
you
the,
bet.
with the advantage.
Spare is a Aishi who is particularly fond of humans. He not only does his nose not wrinkle at the concept of the pact now, it never really did to begin with. He looked at it and went, huh, change. I like change. Change is normal. And he didn't really look at the squish so much. Might have had something to do with he already had a hill that he was living in, and anyway, it wasn't a big transition for him. He was exceedingly bored with a bunch of other Aishi, and he was like, oh, look, humans, they're complicated and messy and dirty and filled with potential, and they're great. So he's a well-established member of the island. Humans go to him for everything from, hey, my husband and I are having an argument, how do I fix it? To, hey, I've got warts in places I don't want to talk about, what do I do?
Okay, and what was his name again? I missed that.
Spare. I can spell it. You write it spear, but you pronounce it spare.
All right.
I think it's spare. Hold on. Yeah, spare. I might be pronouncing that a little bit off though.
Okay.
Used with the incredible pronunciation behind the back of the book.
And would we have any idea where to find him?
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
assuming he's well known if he gets well
got a
along
big
well with
knotty hill
humankind.
that's relatively central located to the island. But his favorite magic spell is to make that appear wherever it needs to appear. He doesn't actually move it, he moves people to it. But you know, most humans don't really care about that detail. They care that they can reach him when they want to. Aiden, what do you think?
Well, he's a threat to the islands, which means that he's a threat to the forest that I protect. So he's something I want to take care of.
Sounds good. You bet. So we know how to get to Spare. You could go talk to him if you wanted. You could also just run across the island and hope for the best of it. A stone that big, presumably glowing with energy, can't be that hard to find. What do you think? I can't help you now. You're a group. What do you think?
I will use my speak with animals ability,
You bet.
and I'm going to speak with a nearby bird that I happen to see.
You bet.
It's a bird that I'm probably familiar with since it's in my area, and I will ask them to kind of go scout out around the stone and just bring back some intel and kind of a lay of the environment.
You bet. At the island as a whole or something specific?
Just the specific area where this guy's located.
You bet. Sounds good.
Things, yes.
How long? Let's see. That probably doesn't take that long. Bird flies off because they have, way better vision than we do when they're up high. Bird comes back in 20 minutes, give or take.
Mhm.
And announces that Dermot is in fact on the high hill of Tara. He is turning funny colors. He is red. There is a large stone in front of him that is he's a Gale. He's 6'2". He's kind of chunky. It is a mythic world, so I'm assuming that all of the humans are taller than average, right? So he's 6'2" and like Olympian, because you're all Olympians, one assumes, right?
Absolutely, sure.
Obviously, right. You're all you can all pick up tractors with one hand, obviously, right? And that there's a stone twice as wide and large as he is that is literally pulsing with red energy. That's the good news, that you know where it is. The bad news is there is a candle on top of a post next to him that paints the whole area in this big red bubble, and it
Mm.
made the bird exceedingly uncomfortable. Through it, he and the stone were difficult to see. The other two things he noticed were that there were two large Dullahans up there, sentient suits of armor. Actually, I'm not really sure if they're suits of armor. That's a weird myth, and there's very little backstory to describe how they exist. which
Yeah,
is really weird to me. Like,
I actually haven't gotten around to their stat block yet, but as far as I'm treating the Dualahan, it's going to be a. I mean, obviously, your interpretation is great for this session, but just a little sneak peek for the future. They're going to be a
ooh,
special, one of a kind, legendary boss monster. That's
ooh.
basically kind of like the Grim Reaper of the setting, but in more of a form of like the Headless Horseman.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
understanding of the Dullahan is it is a headless armor, right? Theoretically, a person's in there, at least part of one, and
Right.
they carry a human spine with no explanation, which is not that unusual. Lots of Irish myths don't really bother to
Yeah.
cover how come they are the way they are. And
Right.
it points at somebody, and they say your name, and you die. Like,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
good time.
They use the spine as a whip. Usually they're accompanied by hellhounds, of course.
Yeah, yeah,
and later folklore, they went from being a horseman to like driving a stagecoach.
Is
But,
this a
yeah.
Dark Souls boss? Like what?
I mean,
Oh,
it
man, it
probably
can-
is. Yeah.
Oh man, that ain't even the beginning of it. So many of these like
Oh,
monsters are just amazing. I love it. Absolutely. I'd be surprised if the upcoming Elden Ring game does not take advantage of some of this material.
That's
very
awesome.
much so. Yeah. That and so he saw the bird saw two Dullahan and a collection of Slua, which are ghosts basically. Bad creatures. They look like people, except you can see through them, and they kind of drift off at the end like a tattered sheet. And they can rip at you with their claws, and they don't really touch your skin so much as your spiritual energy, and then they literally eat it off their claws. If they do that, you're not getting it back. So the bird suggests that you are mighty, but perhaps not mighty enough to siege that fight directly. But you need to figure out how to do it, because once the stone brightens a little bit more, in just the time it took it to get that assumption and come back this way, the stone and the field make the bird uncomfortable.
Mm.
Okay, so are we currently all together or scattered at this point?
That is up to you as a group, a collective, a congress. There's a bunch of words I can't use. An assembly. There we go.
I
will say
we
that-
probably-
Go ahead.
I would say we probably all kind of found each other by this.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. I mean, you're
Yeah.
17th level. You are epic, man. Like,
Yeah. We probably all have a meeting place at this point from just previous team ups.
you're right. And where is that? Is it a fortress on a hill? Is it your favorite bar? Do you have a building that's yours?
I could just nominate a good position other than the Hill of Tara, which is obviously occupied at the moment. Would be the Hill of Uisnach, which is kind of like this sister hill to Tara. It's like further into the heart of the island, and it's like the sacred site of Ireland. It's this big hill where all the druids congregate, kind of hold their councils of Elrond, and
I would have had this stone be there, except I knew at least one of you was playing a druid, and that didn't seem fair.
yeah. Fun fact, currently in this setting, the Hill of Uisnach has the Stonehenge, like the Stonehenge in England, on top of it. And
Yeah,
and it's here right now because in a later myth from real Arthurian folklore, Merlin supposedly made Stonehenge by like stealing the
away.
stones and
Yeah.
just floating them over to England. So,
Yeah. The giants dance through the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What a crazy story.
Right. So yeah,
So, I guess-
Stonehenge is in this island right now, and we could meet up there maybe.
So
The
I guess,
original. Go ahead.
I would say that Aiden may have gone back to his forest to do some of this recon, and so the rest of them could be congregated there. And I'm going to use my ability, which this is one of my favorite names ever. It's I come and go as I please, and I'm just going to appear in the midst of all of you, and I'm going to relay the information that I found out from this bird.
Because he's Batman, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
You bet.
So, since we're all kind of gathered, I kind of have this weird habit of just every time we sort of gather together, like reciting a poem, sorts to all of us.
Do you have a poem?
So I'm actually using my Poem to Remember and Tales by the Fire ability All of us have +1 to all saving throws and ability checks.
Nice.
Nice.
Very cool. Do you actually have a poem to read?
No. Sorry.
I can help you with that. I heard a poem the other day that was really great. It was called Fleas. Adam had 'em. That's it. That's the whole poem. And I thought that was pretty great.
Like it. Logic.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
and knowing that we're gonna go on to this possibly dangerous quest, I will take a moment to use my Emergen's counsel.
Okay.
Mhm.
And for 10 minutes, I am going to talk about the wisdom of figuring out if we need to fight or save, or if we need to go for counsel, or if we need to act quickly, and we need to take the time to figure that out. And after 10 minutes, everybody gets 17 temporary hit points.
Nice. Well, hold on. Are you suggesting that in order to hurry up, one wants to slow down? Get out of here with your like your wisdom. Cut it out.
They call me the worthy-minded for a reason.
Mm, there you go.
You are a hunt master. Slow, smooth,
Oh,
smooth
That's
and
awesome.
fast. Is that how it is? I can't.
pardon? Yeah. My apologies for the terrible voice and the vocals. I coming down with something.
Mm.
Actually, I'm hoping I'm getting over something, right? But still. Okay, sure. You're buffed. You're ready. What's the plan?
If
Well-
there are Dullahan and Slua, it sounds like there's forces from the other world aiding our opponent, and as well as especially the forces of death and decay.
That is a fair assumption.
Whatever information he might have, Spare, the Aishi, is sure to have heard something. I think it's best for us to take the time to go consult with Spare.
Yeah, he may be able to give us a little bit of wisdom to move forward.
Yeah. Sounds
Sounds
like we're
good.
definitely going to need a little something extra.
Agreed.
Okay, sounds good. So are we all headed that way? We're not going to split the party like a bunch of really crazy but interesting people? Like, no?
Don't split the party.
You
I go-
always split the party.
Yeah.
No one ever said, man, I'm so happy we kept the party together and played it safe because that was fun. No one ever says that.
Hey, I'll give you an in here where Fergal he follows what the gods direct. So if you put an omen in front of Fergal,
I'm
I'll
not gonna
just-
like make
yeah.
you split the party or anything.
Oh, well, you know. Yeah, that's basically just been Fergal. He just kind of keeps his peace, doesn't say much, and he's just there, kind of
Yeah.
eyes and ears of the gods, speaking up on their behalf now and then.
You bet. Now, when they came in to tell you all this and you sent out the bird and all that, what were you in the middle of at the time? Were you in the middle of a portent, like chicken bones and blood on the floor?
Oh, all the time, baby, just
You bet.
24/7.
Like all the time. He's just
Yeah.
covered in blood and little like knuckle bones all the
He's
time.
he basically he's just like in this he's not even he's like, you know, has a great reputation and all that, but he's just living in like this dung heap hovel in the middle of the woods,
Oh,
just kind
I'm
of just
picturing Yoda's yurt. Like,
yeah, maybe only a bit more grisly, like
Nice.
turn that up to 11, you know.
nice. Yeah, even worse. Love it.
Right.
You bet. Is this yurt in your on the hill, like with your base with the other players?
Well, you know, maybe a couple of minutes off into the woods, a little bit
Okay.
removed, you know,
Okay,
off to the
sure.
side there.
You couldn't quite bring yourself to bring it inside, huh?
Yeah, no.
It's not the same.
No, they wouldn't let me inside.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
But it's got to smell terrible. I'm watching the Gummy Bears cartoon. Laugh if you want to. Love that
Yes,
cartoon.
yes, yeah.
And
yeah.
I am. They just covered the episode where the ogres. The thing they're afraid of most in life is bats. And I'm going, wait. None of you bathe? That castle must smell awful. Like, holy crap. You're all like 12 feet high and there's like 80 of you. That must smell just dreadful. Oh. Okay. So as the bird comes back and you tell everybody the score, you've thrown some. I mean, what does your portent look like? Are we talking bones on the ground? And are they small bones, big bones? Walk me through this. What's a portent look like for you?
Do you want me to be historically accurate? Because that can get a little R-rated.
If that's the kind of portent you would be doing, absolutely.
Because see, I leave that open to the player. I do not kind of enforce the grisliness of the real history onto the player. But hell,
Like
let's
in this case, you are the player, so the choice is totally yours.
right. Well, let's say that I just, you know, I have a shrunken head hanging from the rafters of my hut. I just kind of stand up, reach up to it, just kind of snack it on the cheek a little bit, and it wakes up. And I just interrogate it for that day's news, yeah, have it tell me what it has heard upon the tides of the other world, all that sort of thing. And once it's had its say, I, just kind of feed it a small little morsel of something as a little sacrifice to its spirit, and then
I
just
see.
send it back to its business just hanging there.
You bet. As you send off the bird, right? You slap it awake. You send off the bird. You wait for its input while you wait for the bird.
Yeah.
The head explains to you that the island is irrevocably doomed, and you would save yourself the trouble by ending your lives now rather than be caught in the blast. And then it pops like a zip. Nice. Like, that's just gross.
Yeah. Just just wipe my face off of the inevitable backdraft of that. And
When the blood, when you go like that and you just kind of wick it off of yourself, the
Yeah.
blood doesn't hit the ground. It flies out the window instead. Like it arcs as it hits the ground and floats out the window. And then starts going like this. And then there's more of it. And next thing you know, you have a cyclone that is literally made of blood and bones, and you can feel the hate in it. It's going to rip your building apart. Who's in front?
well, I clearly just get right out of the way. I don't care about that building.
Are the rest of you there too? I realize that you're not like right next to him because he's in his little hut. And no, I guess you are, aren't you? Because you had the bird came back. Where
We
is
could
everybody?
say.
Where is everybody in relation to his hut and therefore in relation to the blood cyclone?
Come on, get your front row seats to the blood cyclone.
Yeah, I guess I would be nearby because we're waiting for information from them.
Okay.
And with my hounds, and all I see is the blood coming out the door and going, not this again.
Yeah.
I assume this isn't the first time we've seen something like this happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Fergal's just standing off to the side and letting the omen work its magic. And he's just like, raising his hands and just letting loose with some kind of shamanic shriek to the gods or something.
I just shoo my dogs so that they're not nearby.
It curdles the blood, not the cyclone, his shriek.
Mhm.
You bet. Is anybody not near there with, say, farther away than 100 feet? That's not oddly specific for any reason. Okay, you bet. So you're all near-ish. As the blood cyclone dashes towards the building, it hits the edge of the building and then stops spinning, and the ground is just covered in, criminal minds, amounts of blood and bits and bones and whatnot. The blood splatters onto the floor and it comes out in what looks like words, but they're a little bit ruddy. One of them says float and one of them says death.
Float death.
Look, you're the druid, you tell me.
Float death. Well, something to do with water, I suppose. Maybe does death float upon the water?
I didn't realize you could hotline the answer out of the port.
This is me pondering out loud.
I see,
here.
okay.
Yeah.
Don't Slua float.
I suppose you could interpret it that way, yeah. And portents are all about interpretation. You hear a loud, it sounds like a whinny, but larger than an average horse, quite a bit, from the woods. And then birds fly out of the trees and small creatures like rabbits dart this way, and then nothing. The wood goes exceedingly still.
Oh.
Anyone who's ever been in the woods knows that's creepy as hell. That's not normal. Woods make noise.
That's not good.
Yeah, Aiden immediately starts marching towards the woods.
Of course he does, because he's crazy. You bet. Anybody else going with him?
Well,
Yeah.
Either we go towards it or it's coming towards us. Might as well be on that.
You bet. Who's marching order? Who's in front? Who's in back? Who's in the middle?
I would assume Aiden's in front since I'm
Okay.
first.
I'm probably next.
Okay.
I'd be close behind that, so yeah, I'd be third.
Probably
Bet.
behind Ghana.
Okay. You bet. Does that leaves Rourke and Fergal? Are you Rourke? I can't hear you.
I polymorph myself into a raven and circle overhead above the trees.
You bet. Sounds good. Rourke, I didn't hear a word of that. I still can't hear you. That's okay. I'm gonna go like this because dead air is bad. All right, that's it. That's all I have. Like, I have no sense of rhythm at all. Like, not
He's
all
behind, he's
not all-
behind Orin.
yeah, right. Not all stereotypes are true, but the one where at least this one white guy can't dance, that's true. I can't. Definitely not. Like,
They don't know what beat you're trying to keep. There's no music.
oh, there is in my head, lady. There is.
Well, we don't know. Maybe you're right on beat. We never know.
Yeah, right. That's nice. I appreciate the bone. That's nice. Okay, you bet. So you're marching into the front row. And as you penetrate the tree line, right, you see what look like two large horses, a little bit larger, like not quite twice as big, but still bigger than they should be. The only real weirdness is that where their legs should be, there just aren't any. There's nothing in place. They're just horses missing their legs that are flying through the air. There's 6 or 7 of them spinning in the air in a big whirlwind, nipping at what would appear to be an Aishi. You know him. Spare looks like he was headed this way. He looks like he's in a big fuss. His clothes are damaged. He looks frantic. His eyes are the size of dinner plates, and he's doing his very best. He keeps throwing spells like this, trying to keep the creatures to get away from him. And he keeps shrieking to the top of his lungs, "Crazy Pukas, leave me alone!" And he keeps throwing blasts at them. The good news is they don't seem to care about you in the slightest. Bad news is he's your only lead, and they're going to kill him. Well, at least it looks that way. What do you want to do?
So Aiden, I hope that I can do this. It's just more of a flavor thing, but Aiden, you see him as he's just walking. He doesn't break stride. He just keeps walking. As he's walking, he pulls his hands like this together, and as he separates his hands, his staff appears.
Ooh.
And it's this black staff with kind of this green filigree all up and down in a druidic pattern. And once he gets within range, he's going to use the staff to cast Guiding Bolt at the nearest one.
You bet. Sounds good. Would those of you who think that's relevant to your character's background roll to see what you know about Pukas?
See a druid lore check.
That would be great. Those of you who rolled for Guiding Bolt, tell me how much damage you do. Rourke, you get your mic sorted out yet? Can we hear you? Nope, apparently not. Bummer. This is a word I need to make better use of.
Yeah,
I like bummer. It doesn't get used enough.
it's a good one.
And a lot of the time where I could have used a swear word, I can use bummer instead. Like, not that I'm opposed to swearing, but I do occasionally make videos that I would like children to be allowed to watch.
And it just makes you sound like a chill dude.
Yeah, oh, thanks.
Total
Chill,
bummer,
there's a good one.
dude.
Yeah, right. Totally righteous. Yeah. Don't mind me. I watch a lot of cartoons with turtles that are green, and there's 4 of them, and there's ninjas.
Don't worry. I unironically say both bummer and righteous all the time. I used to say groovy all the time, but I kicked that habit somehow.
Then people looked at you funny, and they're like, "You're old, man."
I
And
guess.
you're like, "No, dude, you just don't know what the haps is." Like,
I was
yeah.
probably more affectatious than anything.
So
Anyways, that was a 17 on my druid lore check to size up these pukas.
You bet. There are too many of them. Pukas are spirits. They're mischievous, but they're not usually directly harmful. There's no fun in that. Usually you trick a human into doing something stupid where they hurt themselves and then you laugh. Humans are fragile. Biting them yourself is a bit easy. So the fact that they generally travel in individual units, not packs. And making fun of an Aishi, it's very off-brand for them. There's a collection of them. They're rolling around him a very specific pattern. He can't move out of the way, as if they were big rocks that are always off to each other, like Frogger in the street. They are taking the occasional nip at him. They're foaming at the mouth. Veins in their necks are bulging like this. They're xenophobic is the word. They're going to rip him apart, one nipple at a time. Pukas are traditionally not impossible to damage, but it's usually much easier to talk them out of something than it is to blow them up. Side effect being mostly insubstantial. Aiden, what'd you get for your damage?
So my damage is 12.
You bet. Sounds good. Would you make a will save?
Will save.
Rihanna, did you get a different number?
Me, I didn't
know if-
roll.
Oh, I didn't know if you made a check for.
No, I did not.
What is this?
You bet. Hey, better. Woo!
Ah, there we go. Okay, cool.
Louder, but better.
Oh shoot. Okay, one moment.
What is the will modifier?
Wisdom. I'm sorry.
Okay. Got it. 22.
You bet. Sounds good. What did you deal? 12 damage?
Yes.
You bet. You take 6 points of damage. As your magic sinks into them, and there's an immediate feedback in your brain, so you take half. That's the bad news. The worst news is you're not sure the Puka noticed. Callum, what do you want to do? And would you roll a d6 for me?
Yes, I will roll the d6. I got a 4.
You bet. At this rate, they will rip him apart in 4 rounds.
Amazing. Well, hey, first thing I want to do is try and talk them out of it. Are they sentient enough to actually understand what I say?
Presumably, yeah, they're a little bit angry, but being level 17 and having traveled the island, there is like 0 chance that you haven't run into a Puka before.
Okay.
They're sentient
Even though I'm
creatures.
dumb.
Yeah, but I mean, you're also like a mighty hero who's dumb.
Yeah, okay.
like,
All right, so yeah, I
Johnny
just
Bravo
want
with
to
a cape.
exactly. I said, hey, just want to holler at him. Hey, why don't you stop? What the hell?
Best argument ever. Quit it. Like,
Yeah,
Gotta start somewhere.
Oh, you get it. Oh,
And I assume I need to roll something for that.
yeah, that would be great. Your choice, charm or intimidate, whichever one is more on brand for Johnny Bravo. I mean, Callum.
Callum Bravo.
Also,
right.
to make this extra fun, because I really want this to succeed, I'm going to go ahead and use 2 of my cunning points to give him proficiency in this. And if you already have proficiency, it gives you expertise for the role.
Yes.
Because he's about to put the moves on a
I just want, hey, you stop it to work really bad.
I think you just want to see me get punched again.
It was good the first time.
It was. Okay, so 21.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but you say, hey, stop it. And 2 of them do stop it for a second. They rotate their
Yes.
heads around and they go, and this black miasma stuff rolls out of their face, lands on the ground in front of them and rots the grass there into nothing. They stop nibbling him, like they stop moving and nibbling him, but they don't stop eyeballing you.
I want to go back.
Would you make an intimidate check while I ask Rourke what he's doing? Now that we
Yes.
can hear him.
Yeah. Sorry, I was like messing with volume. Okay, so Rourke is going to run forward and say, "You shall halt," to one that's not directly like engaging with the words,
Mhm.
and is going to use command, which is a will save or wisdom save DC 17 for it.
You bet. For reasons I'm not going to bother you with at the moment, they can't pass will saves. Like,
Oh.
no, you passed.
Well, that's nice.
What is
Okay.
the command?
So I can make it take the shortest direct route to run away, and I'm just going to tell it to do that.
You bet. Run away from you. Could you be a little bit more specific?
Yeah, just me.
You bet. So it picks up, it heightens up in the air, floats up a little higher, and then makes a beeline through its friends. It phantasms through them and through Spare as it goes through its friends on the other side and then off into the woods. The good news is you're down one, and Callum soft stunned. Let's go with 2 of them. The bad news is that one of them going through Spare like that is not good for him. Oren, what do you want to do?
Okay, so these are spirits, correct?
They are what amount to spirits. You've got
Awesome. I'm going to
Um,
start keening.
keening. Walk me
Yeah,
through what that
start
does.
keening at them. So I started singing,
Okay.
and they have to make a wisdom saving throw, DC 18. If
Which they can't
fail,
do.
they're turned for 1 minute or until they're damaged.
Whoa, say that one more time.
If they fail, they are turned for 1 minute or until they are damaged.
As in they can't come near you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You bet.
And then I'm
Um,
going to start walking straight towards.
Of
spirit.
course. You bet. So they hiss and howl and scream, but I mean, they're turned, not they're it's like I always look at turned like a supernatural barrier, not necessarily fear, which is to say they want to eat you, they just can't. Right. So you push them out of the way and they curse and hiss and say horrible things. Their sentience finds them immediately and they use it to try and cut down as much of your ego as possible. Blasphemer, saying things about your parents, right? Stuff like that. But you push them backwards. Except for the 2 that Callum caught Callum's hiss. I mean, they still slide backwards, but they're talking to him, not you. Speaking of, Callum, what did you get for your intimidate check?
17.
Yeah, you got to be kidding me. So you go, man, I'm pretty, and they go, I mean, a little. Like,
One of them just goes,
yeah, right.
Got a point. You got a point.
And they pause, right? They back up because Oren, they can't help themselves, but they pull themselves together enough to ask you to stop that with the keening. They're like, hey, look, we don't know what came over us. We're sorry. The energy in the air is causing feedback and all kinds of things that are less traditionally alive, including spirits and the undead. We didn't mean anything. Our bad. Can you cut it out now?
I'm not sure I believe them.
I mean, that's fair.
I guess an insight check. I
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
mean, this is going to be terrible because I'm not.
Very insightful.
16.
You bet. Their demeanor immediately changed, like a light switch, but their eyes didn't defog right away. So it could be an elaborate stunt. Could be genuine. They sound genuine, and they don't kind of smell like they're lying because inside's not a truth teller. It's just a lie detector, right? Or at least an emotional disruption detector. So maybe they're lying to you, maybe they're in distress, both of which are very possible. But more than likely they're telling the truth. Yeah.
I'm gonna just out of a little bit of spite, push them back about 30 more feet.
You bet. Can you just drop the keening when you want?
It says up to a minute. It's not real specific, but I would. Oh, you may maintain this with concentration for a time. So yes.
So you can focus and then cut it out. You bet. And they apologize both for attempting to attack you and for attempting to attack Spare, who they immediately close the distance on and apologize. And Spare's picking himself up, right? He's busy casting mending and fixing his clothes. He's kind of like that. He'll totally fix his clothes before he fixes his wounds. And he goes, yeah, no worries. I didn't. Ow. You need to clean your teeth. I understand you're going to bite people, but I'm going to get infected, right? And I'm opposed. Ow. So I suppose if you're here, that saves me coming to you. And then he notices the fortune because I actually didn't actually that much, was it? But anyway, so you probably know glowstone gonna blow up.
Yeah.
I don't suppose I can entreat you to solve that particular problem since I like the island and all that.
well, we were intending on doing so, but we thought we'd come to you for a little bit of guidance on the obstacles that stand in the way of that.
Excellent. If you ask me, Dew's responsible for that. I don't know how. I mean, I presumably he's just cursed that guy. He's mean. I can't tell you any particular reason, but I can tell you where he is. So I can help you with that. How many of your characters have been to Tir na Nog before?
I would presume that I probably have at this point, at least as a druid.
Okay, you bet. For players who don't know what that is, it's like the fairy realm. I realize I asked you a question that you might not be able to answer, and that's not fair. Tir na Nog is. Go ahead.
It's yeah, the other world. It's basically just like the planescape of this
Right,
setting.
right. The Tir na Nog could be all kinds of different places and appear differently. And they made like a Power Rangers-esque TV show that one time.
Yes.
Like-
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
I'm still on the lookout to try for ways to slip references into that.
Oh, it's such a
At least
great
one little
show.
reference. Yeah.
They like there was needless toy sale stuff stacked on top. Of course there was.
Mhm.
And I was like,
no.
right, yeah, right, weird, right? I was like, you don't need this. The characters are interesting, and the setting is fascinating. And how about that? You actually can make a non-Japanese import show like that doesn't suck. Cool. I realized though that it was expensive, so you stopped doing it. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he goes, last time I saw Do, which was that a day ago, a week ago, a decade ago. Time's kind of funny. Anyway, I saw him not that long ago, and he was in Tir na Nog at the time. Something about he got contained. You're probably gonna have to help him out in order to get him to help you out. I know, ugly thought, but probably worth saving the island. The good news is time moves differently in Tir na Nog, so you have time, just not all of it. You want to go now?
Yes.
Can't think of anything keeping us here.
You bet. Aiden, Callum, what do you think?
Oh, I'm
He's
just
talking-
along for the ride.
You bet. You
I
bet.
don't think much.
The dude abides.
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
pretty. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Aiden,
that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's your opinion, man.
He's the action man, not the thinker. He's
That's
the
right.
action man. He gets stuff done.
Also a great cartoon. Oren Rourke, what do you think? Guys talking about whisking you off to the realm of the fairies. You been there before? How does that sound?
I mean,
It sounds like a good time.
Rourke is like, oh, there's gonna be problems, but like he's been there and he's like, this is not gonna be a pleasant experience. But I mean, the fate of this whole island is at stake, so we
Never
gotta,
is simple.
Like, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, no. You're
Go
right.
and maybe die, stay and definitely
Yeah.
die.
Yeah, all of a sudden, maybe die sounds like good.
Maybe
odds,
die
right?
sounds a little better.
Right.
Callum's not thrilled, but he's also not a bitch. So, you know.
You bet. And he says-
Riona's never been there, but she's a little enticed on getting to see something like that.
He goes, excellent. So chances are Zoo's not going to be the more forthcoming, creature in the world. So here, and he shoves his hand into his blood-soaked pockets. They're no longer shredded, but they're not clean. And he comes up with a small stone that has what looks like a sword, not being held by anybody. It's just there on the stone, and it looks like it's broken. It looks like there are lines that show that it's in motion, and it looks like it's been painted as if it struck something and then broke, but you don't see what it struck. The stone's a little bit bigger than your average river rock, and he hands it to you and says, if he gets contemptuous after you help him, that part's important. You have to help him first or it won't work. After that, you're gonna have to convince him to get him to say he'll help you. If you help him, I know him. He'll break the deal. Press this stone against his face. He'll help you. He won't have a choice. Also, do not lose this stone or you won't come back. And then you disappear.
As we were
And
going, how do we? And then we disappear and we land, come back.
Oh, you don't really land so much as your breath, like there's a whisking, like all the air's been ripped out of your lungs and your vision blurs. And when you're kind of yourselves again, your first sensation is that you're inside of something incredibly dense, like if somebody had put you inside of a brownie.
Is it odd that I kind of understand what you mean?
I don't know. Has anyone ever put you inside of a brownie?
No.
before? I mean, if the answer is yes, it's not that weird. So the good news is you don't feel wounded or anything. The bad news is you can't breathe because you're inside of a brownie. Let's pick up with Riona since she apparently knows what I mean. What do you want to do?
I didn't mean that way. I'm just like that's like understand the feeling.
Can relate.
Like,
Never having been here before.
you can't see anything. It's all dark. Presumably,
Very
'cause you're in-
confused.
Okay.
So I guess honestly, the first thing she would do is check for Roran and Nora to make sure they came with too.
Okay, you bet. You hear? How do you do that? Do you listen? Do you kind of grope around in the slot?
Grope around since I see I can't really hear.
You bet.
And
Sounds
I
good.
guess my first instinct would be because I've never been someplace like this. The closest I have been has been like underwater.
Mhm.
So my initial response would be to try and go what I think is up.
You bet. Sounds good. You're a master like hunter, so I'm not gonna have you roll for that. I imagine orienting yourself is easy to do. Because as a hunter, you probably don't like it. Getting lost is bad, right?
Right.
Right. So you find the two wolves without any difficulty. They're right next to you. They move even a little bit, and you can feel their fur against you.
Yeah. So I just immediately grab their hide armor that I gave them and try
What
and
I-
go what I think is up.
Sounds good. What I am gonna have you roll for is a strength check to pull yourself up out of the slot.
One thing I'm bad at.
Nice.
That'd be a 6.
Rough. So you wiggle and you jiggle and you shake and you get nowhere. That's bad. Would you make a con save?
That I'm better at.
Oh, good.
That's a 15.
Excellent. You bet. You managed to continue to hold your breath. Oren, you're inside of something incredibly dense that blocks your ability to hear pretty well, your ability to see completely. It's like if you're inside of a jello mold. What do you want to do?
Probably panic a little first.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Gotta pee your pants first. You're not cool unless you pee your pants.
roll with my pants. Roll to not with my pants at the same process.
Constitution
sure.
check.
All right. Fortify. You'll be all right.
No, try to get out. I mean,
Yeah, you bet.
yeah, up is out. I mean, as quickly as possible.
So you want to go up, not down, or side to side, or whatever? What direction do you? I'm going to use the word swim here very loosely. What direction do you want to swim?
Just a second on something, and maybe I can tell you.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just checking an ability real fast to see if
If it helps, north and up are not actually synonyms. I have friends who don't understand that, and that hurts my head.
Really?
Yeah, they're like north is up sometimes, but no, it's really not.
If,
okay.
if you're on the equator, technically.
I mean, I
don't-
guess.
I once met a person who thought all rivers flowed south.
Huh. Fascinating.
Wait, you need help? I'm sorry.
Not
Yes,
to call
all
anyone out.
Right, all bodies of water flow south, even the ones in your toilet bowl and your kitchen sink. Every single one, right?
Actually, I'm gonna like I guess try to orient myself a little mentally,
Okay, sure.
figure out which way I should go.
You bet. What role do you want to use for that?
I'm guessing survival.
That sounds like a great idea. You bet.
Okay, and then I'm going to. So, question. This is a mechanical thing.
Okay.
Like, use abilities. Is it use them before the roll, or see what the roll is and then use them?
Does the ability specify?
It does not. It just
Then I'm
says
all
I
for you doing it after the fact. You're level
Sorry, what's
17.
what's the ability? I could probably help.
Oh, that's right. He wrote it. You might as well ask him.
Yeah.
What do we got going here?
Also get the Pathfinder thing and like using the cunning points if I need to bump it a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's the Pathfinder feature, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just you spend the described amount of points. I forget exactly how much off the top of my head, and it's that amount of points per each individual character you want to grant it to. So you're gonna have to spend it multiple times over if you want to give multiple people a benefit to their role.
Okay. But do I roll first and then decide if I want to do it, or do I do it?
Oh.
roll?
You do it and then roll.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
have something else I'm gonna use, so I'll just roll and not spend it right now. So rolling survival on this. Okay, I'm actually gonna use my other ability. No, never mind. Going with that. It'd be a 15. So yeah, 15.
You're pretty sure you know which
Sorry,
way is
my bad.
up and
I'm confused. 13.
13. You bet.
13.
You are slightly less sure that you know which way is up and which way is down. Which direction, assuming that you are correct, which direction do you go?
Up. Let's
Up.
assume-
You bet. Make a strength check to swim through the slop. I'll get back to you in a second to ask you, give me what you got. Fergal, same question, really. You're up to your eyeballs and everywhere else, really, in this dense feeling material.
Well, far as I know, I'm still in the shape of a raven.
Yep.
So I'm a bird in the middle of all this. So I guess I'm going to drop that first because that would just make things even more difficult, I'm sure.
I don't know. Penguins swim, fly. You ever seen one of those from upside down when they're doing their thing? It is amazing that penguins can't fly. They can. They
Yeah.
absolutely can. They just don't know they can.
When they hop out of the water, yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if this is relevant, but just a random note. Given one of my features here as a Feely, I am able to sense the presence of any otherworldly creatures within 100 feet.
Yes.
There
you
wouldn't
and
happen to
Aiden
be-
both.
Oh, so there wouldn't happen to be anything going off, would there?
No.
All
You
right.
and Aiden both have that ability. I'm aware of it. Thank you for reminding me. You bet.
Gotcha.
Then again, my interpretation of 100 feet is not as good as it should be for a guy who plays D&D a lot.
Right.
So forgive me if you pop out of this thing and then I describe a situation and you're like, I was totally 100 feet. Because my understanding of distance is just awful. But no, you are presumably at least supernaturally alone. Here's a question.
Right.
Would your fellow Aishi trip that?
No, they technically count as humanoids, and it only triggers with otherworldly creatures, being the
You bet.
specific type.
Okay, you
So,
bet.
and I'm actually going to just keep things simple for now and do a survival check to try to orient myself correctly.
You bet.
And that is a 5. So no, I'm probably just like
Rough.
floating face down.
You bet. Do you try and escape anyway?
Oh sure, yeah, I'm kicking any direction that I
You
can
bet.
at this point.
Strength check it is. Speaking of, Orin, what'd you get?
17.
You bet. You struggle and squirm and you make headway. And you push upwards, right? Not enough to get out of the thing, whatever it is, but enough that you can feel something's heat from above you. You're definitely going towards something that is not this thing. It's starting to get a little softer. One more push like that, and you'll totally be out of whatever it is that you're in. Fergal, what'd you get?
I got a 2.
Rough. So he orients incorrectly, and then he goes, "Ugh," right? Just sort of
Yeah.
lays
It's-
there.
It's pathetic, really. It's like a seagull in an oil spill.
You got to get some Dawn soap in there. you know? Rourke, what do you think?
Yeah, so Rourke is kind of gonna immediately be plunged into this darkness, and at first he's gonna be thinking like, oh gosh, how do I get to Callum who's strong and can deal with this? And he's gonna
Save me, Superman. Save me.
yeah, exactly. That's like his first. He's gonna use he has True Sight, which is a spell that he'll cast, and it says I can see through supernatural darkness
No kidding.
and see things. So
Does it let you see through solid matter?
I do not think it does.
Really? True
I
sight
don't
won't
think
let you like
so.
see through walls and crap? No kidding.
As far as I know.
No kidding.
Yeah. No, I think it's just
Huh.
magical darkness. I can see invisible creatures and detect illusions. And I can see shape changers.
But you still don't get X-ray vision out of that. Bummer. So you
Doesn't
cast
seem
the
like-
spell and you still can't see anything.
Oh gosh. Okay, so then I just freaked out, and I'm also just gonna try to go up. That's what I'm doing.
You bet. Roll they went with survival and then first to see if you can figure out which way's up, and then a strength check to see if you can move in the direction that you end up on.
Okay. Okay, so the survival roll is a 15.
You bet. Sounds good. You're pretty sure you know which way is up.
Okay, and the strength roll is a 8.
Rough. And you squirm and kibby and you look like a child with tummy time who hasn't quite got the hang of it yet. Callum, what do you do?
Well, I'm going to first reach around me and see if anybody is within arm's
You bet.
length.
You do a little gropey, swimmy, right? And you've. How would you know? Are have you been a party with them enough that you would know, like you'd be able to tell which one it was if you touched
Oh, I
them?
would absolutely not.
Okay, you bet.
Unless I
Absolutely
touched,
not.
unless I touched parts
Oh,
that
I see what
don't
you mean.
belong to the others
I see.
accidentally, then I might know. But
Then you touch what you're pretty sure is fur,
Okay.
and what you're pretty sure is a human face. Aiden, something big and like meaty pushes into your nose.
if I can grab clothing with or whatever, I'm gonna grab that and then attempt to go whatever direction I perceive would possibly be up.
You
So-
bet. Whatever the fur or clothing or whatever it is, it's kind of hard to tell underneath all this muck is already moving. Do you want to go with it?
Yeah, I think so.
You bet. Then don't make an orientation check. Instead,
Okay.
make a strength check at advantage. Fergal and Rourke, I forgot to ask you to make con saves. Would you do that?
Oh, yep.
Um,
I rolled the
That
same thing
is-
twice in a row.
oh yeah,
Yeah, 18.
you bet. So Riona, you're pulling your two wolves up with you, right?
Trying.
Yeah.
failing.
All of a sudden there's a kind of a push behind you. Like when you push open a door and somebody's on the other side and they're pulling it, it seems way easier than it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
Kind of like that. As you kind of feel, remind me what your wolves' names are again.
Oh, Ronan and Nora.
Thank you. Nora kind of comes at you, right? And there's a weight change, and you're like, only one member of the team's that big. Callum's pushing on me. So there's like a daisy chain of people in whatever this thing is.
That's good because I might not make it up on my own.
Rourke and Fergal, what'd you get for your saves?
Solid 8.
Ooh, rough. Rough. Yeah, that's a bummer.
I got
would you-
a 13.
You bet. Rourke, would you roll 4d12 for me? Fergal, you don't move, but you manage to hold your breath still. Aiden, it is your go. You're the last person in the round.
So am I being pulled by Callum or
Unless he let go, I don't see why not. Yeah. I guess the question
I
is,
wouldn't have let go.
do you want to go in that direction or fight against it? Because I guess you don't actually know it's him. You might. He's a big guy,
I kind of have a feeling it's his hand.
You bet. Sure.
So the first time his hand has touched my face, without my consent.
He's a face toucher. I see.
Yeah. So
I drink a lot.
Let me see your face.
I'm sorry about what I said or did when I was drunk, right?
And you're pretty.
I'll just kind of go along with his pull.
You bet. Strength check at
So I
advantage.
hope that it's him.
Yeah, hopefully. Strength check at advantage.
Okay.
Rourke, what'd you get for damage?
29 damage.
Rough. You need to get out of this thing now.
Yeah, I'm looking for Callum. I'm doing it.
Unbeknownst to you, he's actually swimming away from you. You bet. We're at the top of the round. Some of you are doing okay. Some of you are doing less okay. Let's pick up with Oren because he's at the closest to success.
My
Oren, what do
strength was 10, by the way.
you say again?
My strength check was 10.
10
Yeah. it was
at
bad.
like total? That's rough. You bet. So
You have a group of dex builds.
with advantage. With advantage, you got a 10.
Yep.
Bummer. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So you're pretty sure that's Callum, and you kind of reach up through the slop and you go to grab him, and he doesn't let go of you, but the slop, not on purpose anyway. You don't think so. The slop gets underneath his fingers, or maybe he's just drunk and forgot control of his hand for a second. Who knows? But I mean, he lets you go in the stuff. There is those of you who have failed to move up, right? There's a sound below you that sounds an awful lot like a meat grinder. Oren, what do you want to do?
So can I at least kind of sense that no one's really near me right now?
Yeah, I think that's a relatively safe bet. So the slop up against your ears works very much like earplugs, but in my experience, earplugs don't block out all sound. They just muffle it a great deal. So I think it's suffice to say that you can sort of feel here a complete absence of anything. And I mean, maybe your friends got whisked away to other places, but if they're here with you, they're not next to you.
Okay. Hold on. They have to be able to hear me, so this could actually. It's up to you if this works. I mean, do I think, given sort of, I guess, my background as a warrior poet, I could actually get my head of try to. I guess first of all, see if I get my head above this.
Sure, yeah. Make a strength check at advantage because you've got the hang of moving through this stuff.
At advantage.
At advantage, you bet.
18.
You bet. You pop your head up through the top of it. You are mostly still stuck in, honestly. What appears to be an enormous building-sized mushroom.
Okay.
Purple with big yellow speckles all over it.
I'm actually going to scream out one of the Fenian. Am I Fenian? I don't know how I'm saying that right. Motto is strength of our limbs, which gives everybody within 30 feet. I've got to roll.
Okay. Is there a condition for that? Do they have to really hear you, see you?
It actually doesn't say that. It says you can add a bonus 1d6. Who can hear you? Yes.
Okay,
So I'm
you
going
bet.
to try to deep breath and bellow as loud as I possibly can.
Yeah, because we're in a fairy realm. Who knows who can see us or hear us or whatever. And I'm going to give away my total element of surprise by bellowing at the top of my lungs like Barry White. Yeah, good
Lower it,
call.
than him.
Better than all of us dying.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, and maybe the motto is "Get your out of there."
Move your butts. Like,
Put a little hitch in that giddy up.
right.
I'll get
Pitter
+5.
patter. Yeah, you bet. What did they get for that?
If they can hear me, they get +5 to their next check.
No kidding.
Nice.
That's badass. You bet. So all of you hear Oren, what do you sound like? Are you squealy? Are you high pitched? Are you Barry White? Like how does
Let's go with rolled.
okay, you bet. So you have a reasonably distinctive voice then. So they all hear you. Not well, but they do hear you. And well enough that they get the bonus. Callum, in case you missed that, apparently Oren sounds like rolled from
Oh, I heard. That's why I said Stuart.
I missed that. That's great. And he rattled off some poet blah blah that amounts to pitter patter. Good for him.
Yep.
You bet.
Wouldn't have expected anything other.
I hadn't really considered that Letterkenny sounds more than a bit Irish, but it does. So I'm going to call you the Letterkenny gang now.
It absolutely does.
There's definitely probably some culture in the Ontario area from that part of the world.
Oh yeah. So
And you know what? The accent tends to be kind of close.
Yeah, they actually
Kind of.
almost sound Irish sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I man, that last episode that had Shorzy in it, my inner 12-year-old, I was dying. I almost like
Gilbert
fell out of my
Balsatuck.
chair. Yeah. The part where it turns out that their mothers actually want to know where Shorzy is. Oh my god. Like because lots of teenagers say nasty stuff like that about their friends and enemies' parents, but it's never actually true ever. Like
Right.
so that was wow. Fergal, what do you want to do? You're drowning, basically.
All right. So I don't trust in my own physical ability to get myself out of this. I'm a frail old man. I'm basically might as well just wait for the end to come if I'm relying on myself here. So I don't have an immediate fix to this, but unless someone comes in to grab me, this is my best idea. I am going to cast move. Well, actually, first let me ask. Does this, you've been describing it as slop. Does it feel like it might be some kind of like earthy, loamy sediment? Is this earth?
Yeah. I
Okay, so
suppose
I'm
as a
gonna-
druid, you might know that it's a mushroom, or at least that it's probably like mushroom filament feels kind of unique. So
Oh, yeah,
I think you might know that.
Certainly, yeah. Just one step away from the detritus of the forest floor. Sure.
Yeah.
So would it work if I were to, okay, I don't know if it works or not, but I am going to try to cast move earth underneath me is just like a 5x5 square that is kind of raising me up as like this as a dense pillar of earth that's just supposed to like elevate me out of the slop. It's not immediate. Move earth does take a few minutes, so I'm just going to be kind of slowly elevating up.
So does this success hinge on whether or not we're counting a mushroom as earth?
That's your call, I would say.
Okay, what a great question. I'm all for it. I don't think Wizards of the Coast would agree with me. I probably mean just dirt and rock and stuff. But
Yeah, they're
Right.
kind of
I'm
jackasses anyway.
anything that becomes like as you said, anything that breaks down so much so that it might as well become the carpet in a forest floor.
Right.
Like, I feel like in that case, a million pine needles would count. So will the mushrooms. Why
Okay.
not? Like, I'm game. Why not?
So
They're more guidelines than actual rules.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So one peculiarity of this Heroes of Tara rule system is the magic casting for the Feely class requires a skill check.
Right. Yeah.
DC determined by the spell level. This is a level 6, so that is going to be a DC 14. It's 8+ spell level.
Nice.
And I just rolled using my Druid lore as my spell casting ability.
Yeah.
Got myself a tidy little 21, so that's a
Nice.
successful cast.
You bet.
And like I said, it's not going to be an immediate thing, but I am now sitting on top of this elevator of Earth that's just like slowly raising me up out of
Did
the
you add +10 to what you rolled?
plus 10.
Right, because
I-
Oren gave you a +5 and for reasons I'm not going to bother with just yet.
That's right. I did not. So I guess in that case, I just blow it right out of the water. Yeah.
Yeah, you bet. So when you cast the spell, there's this. I don't want to say you go Super Saiyan, but that's what happens. Right? There's a
It
magical.
catapults me out.
Right. Your hair turns yellow. You look like Gohan that time he wanted vengeance for his dad's death. Right, and you just boom. You shoot out of the top of the mushroom like a bottle rocket.
And just keep going.
Right. You fly up like 50 feet and then you
Yeah.
come back down and just land on top of it
But
next
it's
to
a soft
Oren,
mushroom, right?
who's only out of hit to here. And you're looking at him like, hey, like,
The question is, does he happen to catch any of the rest of us on the way up?
yeah, I think you're close enough to, so you're close enough to somebody as you move. You still can't see.
Yeah.
But there's enough mass that isn't mushroom that you can probably grab the person to your left if you want.
Well, I don't know if you. I've already said it, and the action was already taken. So absolutely your call if it's set in stone. But I just realized I did specify 5x5 under me, but that's
Yes, you did.
that's needlessly selfish because the spell allows for at least a 20x20 area. I could just raise the whole group, I suppose.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm game.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
everybody shoots out of it like a bottle rocket, including Oren, who was already above you. So it's kind of like a whooshing, like a fart in the wrong direction that comes up beneath him. That sounds very uncomfortable. I'm like, so we are about at the halfway mark. I know it's live, but I didn't know if everyone would go to the bathroom, get something to drink, that sort of thing.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think I will just step out for one quick minute
Sounds
and be
good.
right back.
I will see you and whoever's watching this. I hope somebody's watching this in about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
So I am super excited for the hurling thing for you to finish it. I cannot wait to see your ideas for that.
Oh yeah, that's been real fun. At first I was trying to make it into a really like its entirely own thing, a lot like those other social encounters that you might have looked at.
Right.
But I've actually come to the conclusion that it's a lot more streamlined and a lot more fun if you make it pretty much just kind of a non-lethal combat encounter with a special objective.
I mean, it kind of is though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly kind of what it was intended as, like a kind of a battlefield simulation for warriors to just keep up in their off hours, you know. So
Is it just me, or does a hurl look just a tiny bit like an axe?
yeah, it could certainly it was definitely one of those games where a person could definitely get their wig split.
They finally have that in America now, and I am all here for that. That's really cool.
Yes. Oh, it's so cool. I've never really been much of a sports follower myself, but
Same.
It's one of those that I do peek in on now and then.
Hurling and European handball are the only two sports I've ever encountered that I like bother to care about. European handball immediately speaks to me. I don't get it. No one had to walk me through how to play. I was like, okay, yeah, I totally know who's winning and how come. I totally understand this sport. That's weird. That's cool. Like we went to Denmark and we watched a match. It's a little bit strange. If you haven't, it's like soccer with the rules reversed, which is American soccer, which is which reversed so that I guess the rest of the world calls that football. That's what I meant. Yeah, it's American. Everyone except the goalie can't use their feet to touch the ball. The goalie is entitled to use his feet and his hands. So and there's a lot of jumping. Like so, and the ball is designed to be slightly too large for you to adequately wield with one hand, but you're not allowed to touch it with both hands.
So you kind of just keep it bouncing back and forth from
no,
one to the
you
other?
coat your hands in tree sap before the game starts. Yeah.
What game is this?
European handball.
Okay.
Wow.
We went to Denmark and I watched a grown man open this giant vat plastic bucket, like the kind of thing that industrial size mayonnaise comes in, right? And I'm like, what the hell is that? Or why does it look like crystallized urine? And he shoves his hands in there and comes back out and he's got goop dripping off of him and he just starts going like this. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Making myself sticky.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Use it as product, you know?
Yeah, right. He's looking at me going, what? Making sure it sticks. We had yet to discuss that we don't have that sport in America.
No.
So Rosfin's looking at me like, what? Why are you confused?
Yeah. I mean,
why aren't you? What the hell?
I mean,
You ever watch
Title
The
of-
Replacements?
Say that again?
You ever watch the movie The Replacements?
No.
Kind of makes me think of that one scene. Looks like I just jacked off an elephant.
yeah, that's right.
And he
Oh,
went
man.
to town. They had a blast. And by the end of it, the sap started to run off of them. There's like a river of sweat because the game's played inside on a court. Which means there's no traction, right? Way before you get it wet, there's no traction.
Right.
One guy hit his butt and slid like 12 feet backwards before he regained control of himself to stand back up. When
And-
the game was over, I was like, that looks super fun. Was it? And he goes, yeah. And he's busy going like this and going, you're wincing. I go, what are you doing? And he goes, encouraging my fingers to heal. Excuse me? And then he explains to me that during the first round of play, the sap will stick to the ball with enough ferocity that will tear the finger pads off your hands. And he goes, you know whether or not somebody's going to be good at this sport or not. Not just because of the skill they develop, but whether or not their bodies regenerate the finger pads before the start of the next game in the season.
Oh my
If
goodness.
that doesn't happen, it hurts like crazy. I
Oh
said,
my goodness.
Yeah, I bet. That sounds super not fun.
Man.
I'm all for hard work, but pain for giggles? Pass.
Yeah.
Like,
And then there's Calcio Storico, that Italian Renaissance ball game where you just got these freaking gladiators going at it. You ever see that one? They're like still wearing like the Renaissance poofy pants and everything.
I haven't.
Oh, it's awesome. It's I think it's in Milan. Yeah, I think it's Milan. It's just this traditional sport they've had going since the Renaissance, where just basically all of the bruisers of the city get together and they just have an absolute like I say, gladiator match of a ball game where anything goes, and it's
That's
just
nuts.
like brute forcing the ball across the field, and the Milanese love it. It's like part of their cherished cultural heritage. And
No kidding. We
Yeah,
went
they-
to see Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's just like the best part is that they keep up with the Renaissance costumes while doing
That
it.
is funny. We went to see Hurling in Fenway Park, right? And it's not the same. It's Super 11s. It's a slightly modified version of the game. You score one way instead of two ways, right? They don't drop flags for points. It just goes on the scoreboard. The team's a little bit smaller on each pitch, right? So it's the same game. It's just more compact. In an attempt to make it easier to port to America, and that the score numbers go higher, because lots of studies showcase that the sports that get higher numbers sell better in America.
Mhm.
So they've changed it a little bit, and there are three referees, excuse me. One on the left side of the field that runs up and down, one on the right that does the same thing, and one guy, poor sucker, who has to do that in the middle, like on the field with the players. And it's 11 men on a side. And there's a period where 21 men are busy beating the crap out of each other inside of one goal. And then I watched the referee look at the other two, like, what do I do? And they point, and he goes, I don't wanna, right? Yeah, he has to get in there and physically separate them. Like, it was like, and they didn't stop the clock or anything. That's gameplay. Like, it was nuts. Like,
Let
Go
them
separate
fight.
them. No.
like, you're the new guy, aren't you? This is like referee hazing. This
Which
there's two-
position do you want to take for referee?
Yeah,
Middle's
right.
the best one.
Yeah, you want that one, right? There's 21 grown men hitting each other with sticks, and like, that's the game. It's insane.
Yeah, that one's gonna do well here.
Yeah. Once upon a time, I pitched it to my local rec center, and I had this big speech ready, right? And I went in there and didn't offer it. I didn't say, hey, how are you? I said, like, look, here's my name is Jay. Here's what I want about hurling for 20 minutes. And when it was over, he went, oh, all right. I'm familiar with the sport. I love it. I'm glad to find another person who loves it. My liability insurance will not let that happen.
We don't have good enough liability insurance for that.
Absolutely not.
America, land of the lofty.
Yeah.
I chose to play this sport, but how dare you let me get hurt at your facility?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
If junior league happens and parents get involved,
Yeah, right.
man.
Can you see little Timmy just smacking his brothers around who didn't agree to play with a Hurley? Yeah, I'm sure that'll go over like a fart in church. Yeah.
Well, we get lacrosse, but those lacrosse sticks are like pretty lightweight nowadays.
And you don't actually hit each other with lacrosse sticks, do you? That's like a
You're not
No.
supposed to.
Not anymore. No.
Not anymore.
Basketball is also a zero contact sport.
Yeah.
Mm.
No.
See,
No.
you say that, but I've seen the occasional basketball game. That's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, yeah, basketball is also zero contact.
Yeah.
You're only supposed to take 2 steps after you pick up the ball too, but
But you're LeBron, so you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
It is a step and a half.
is it really? No
plus how many?
kidding.
Depends. Is it girls or guys? If it's girls, we get one. And like, that was 2.
That's true.
Yeah.
You touched
Ugh.
each other. That's a foul.
Ugh. So here you are on top of this mushroom. Like, I'm all for cutting into how lady sports aren't treated fairly. I'm all for it. But I feel like people who are watching this aren't here for that.
They just
Like,
teach us how to be sneaky, which then we put into D&D.
right. What you don't know is that Star has just sent me $100 through PayPal to make sure that she lives, even if you all die. Right.
Sure. I
Smart.
don't even have PayPal.
She says that because she's sneaky, not because it's true.
True.
And
Yeah.
here you
Yeah.
are.
Wrong
Here
way.
you are- yeah, right. Here you are on top of this mushroom. You appear to be in a large, like you can't see the top of it, chamber that is dimly lit by the yellow spots on the mushroom. That meat grinder sound is now much easier to hear because you're not inside of a fungus. The mushroom is sinking. You can tell the walls are featureless for the most part. You don't see the sky or anything. You're in what amounts to a giant cave. But there are letters along the side of the walls. They're enormous, but they're almost the same color as the wall, so they're difficult to see. If it wasn't for the yellow glow, it would be impossible to see them. The good news is you can see them and you can probably read them. Anybody who's got druidic lore. The bad news is because you have a way to track vision around you, you are sinking. The entire mushroom is sinking into something that sounds an awful lot like a meat grinder.
Huh.
do you want to do?
Aiden's gonna take a look over the edge of the mushroom just to see what's around it.
Are you familiar with Charybdis from the Odyssey?
Oh,
Yes.
Okay. Charybdis, if it was filled with teeth.
Okay.
here we go. I read the letters.
You bet. I love how you're just like, I can read those. Awesome. Good for you. You look at them and you're like, yeah, all right. That's giant HE script. I don't know why it's size 310, but I can read that. And you read it. And it says it's not a riddle or anything. It's a label. You're in a containment chamber. You're in the processing plant for the great. The great needs to be fed on a regular basis, or it will consume the fairy realm. So whenever like people are punished or extracted, right, and they're not going to be redeemed, and usually they're not. Fairies don't keep prisoners; they throw them here. If you keep a prison, this is like low grade stuff. If they keep you as a prisoner, it's because you've done something unerringly evil, and you can't suffer if you're dead. But if you just did kind of a bad thing, they're going to feed you to the
Lovecraft.
Yeah, I didn't want to come up with a name for it, so it's just a.
I like
Fair
it.
enough.
It's
Yeah,
also
if
the
you wanna-
noise it makes.
If you want to say it's Lovecraftian, that's cool. I think the beauty of the Lovecraftian stuff is that it has this meta way of seeping into everything.
Oh yeah, it is also indescribable, which like
Right.
the Cthulhu gets painted as this big squid creature, but at no point does Lovecraft actually cover that.
Oh yeah. There's a creature called the Weirdress that I swear is a
Look at this
Lovecraftian
thing.
creature.
You can't look at this thing because I've got a fancy background. Anyway, it's a Necronomicon. It's almost all of Lovecraft's work. The biggest volume of them you can buy.
Nice.
And I have mixed feelings. Anyway, like many authors at the time, I have mixed feelings.
Oh, so is it the casual racism? Is that it?
Casual racism, I'm going to say extremely noticeable. Yeah. And unlike Howard, who unjustly gets hoisted with sexism and racism because his characters act like that, because he wrote what would sell. The art and the artists are not the same in that particular case at all. Howard was a pronounced feminist. He was like, yeah, women will inherit the earth. They're inherently better than us. Was he like, maybe men suck like as a category, and maybe that's not nice either. Yeah, but he was totally not a sexist for sure. And unlike that, Lovecraft was exactly what his work purports him to be, a paranoid racist nutball. Like, I was off his rocker. I had this thing for metal. You ever notice that all the glowy objects that will save you are metal? I don't know why that is.
Oh yeah.
They're never like a mother's love or a beam of light. It's
The
always
friendship that was in you all along.
right. It's always a key
Cold,
or a
unfeeling
lock or-
minerals.
Right. Even the thing that's going to save you is like lifeless. I'm like, that's creepy, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not usually a friendship is magic kind of guy, but I'd like there to be a unicorn just once in a Cthulhu story.
That thing also has tentacles and will eat you.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, a unicorn that isn't going to destroy you.
Eldritch
Right.
horror unicorn. Oh, murder corn.
Murder corn. Right,
You're-
right.
You're asking for light and hope, and I just don't think that was anything he wanted to do.
Yeah, that was not his jam. Yeah, like not at all. Oh, my apologies. So you are sinking into the, which will presumably eat you. The writing goes on to describe what the does. And I'm not going to bother you with all the gritty details, but you will be less than atomic dust.
Cool. So you said it looks like we're in a container?
You're in a cavern that is
Oh,
a
in a
makeshift container.
Okay.
You can see a gate from here. It's very small. It's like 4 feet high, maybe less. You don't really fit. But it's only like 60 feet from here. It's on the ground. You're a couple 100 feet up. But like on the ground, it's right over there.
So there is ground. It's not all just like everything beneath this mushroom is not just made up of and teeth and
No,
all that.
No, the ground sort of like so there's the gate, right? You would come, presumably they would come through the gate, and you've got like 6 feet of threshold before it's
Gotcha.
you're about 150 feet above the threshold. If the mushroom If the mushroom sank all the way down, like right before the ate it, you would be able to step on the threshold. But I mean, you'd be cutting it awful, awful close.
So maybe we should go to the edge and wait until there's like 10 feet or so above and start jumping. Can we all fit on that threshold? All
No,
8
no,
of us?
definitely not. Any 2 of you, probably. Any 3 of you, if Callum isn't one of them, because I'm imagining him as a very big fella. So any 3 of you, if it's not one of him, and any 2 of you, if he's one of them. But after that, I mean, maybe.
So I have a question.
More like you're 2 of you are going to stand there and they're going to hold the other 2.
In this setting, are eagles like normal size, like in real life sized eagles, or are they the larger, like great eagles?
Like
There are normal eagles, though. In the other world, anything is possible.
right. Why are you asking? Where are you going with that?
Aiden would like to use his Master of Shapes ability to transform into the largest eagle that he can possibly become in this setting.
You bet.
I'd say a great eagle is possible.
Yeah, I don't see why
Okay.
not. Sure.
Okay.
Not
Then-
speaking as DM, just the writer.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, no, that's fine. Do you roll for that or do you just do it?
With my ability, I just have that ability.
Oh, awesome.
Right.
And how
Am I wrong?
go for it. How big is the wingspan of a great eagle, do you think?
I would assume 10, 12 feet.
Okay, great. You turn into a 30-foot wingspan eagle. You're enormous. There's a surge of magic when you go to use yours, and you get much larger than you planned on.
Okay, I'm gonna hover right in front of everybody and just in my head, I'm saying, "Hop on, you fools!" But all you hear is this eagle screech right in your face.
Nice. I love how you turn into this giant eagle and you still don't speak English. or Gaelic, I suppose, is the language of the day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've watched your friend, buddy, ally, teammate turn into a giant bird. Is everybody going with him?
I assume this has happened before.
I mean, not that big, no, but like he's gotten big before, just not that big.
And so but the only way out is this door, right?
You don't see anything else. Feel free to make a perception check if you like, but nothing else is immediately apparent.
Okay.
You have time. The mushroom is sinking, but you're not going to sink into it in the next 10 seconds, right?
I get to reroll once. Thank you.
Not bad.
That will be, is it a perception? That will be a 14.
Sounds good. You bet. The cavern looks as I described it.
Okay.
Massive, barely lit. At the bottom, mushroom underneath you.
What about
Little-
19?
Rourke's getting
Almost
on the,
the same
eagle.
thing. Sounds good. Almost the same thing. But you see a ratchet system. There's like a pulley with chains that run up along the side of the wall, like through the bars on the side of the door. Which is to say, the doorway is like one of those metal lattice work dealies, like a portcullis, and which means you can see through it. And there's a bar. There's a weight and counterweight system set into the walls. The walls have flaked away with time. Presumably, you were not supposed to be able to see them when it was built. You can see them now. They're 6 feet, give or take, on the other side of the wall. You would all be able to see them if you made the perception check after you were on the threshold. They would have been impossible to miss, but you can see them from all the way up here. You also see what looks like some sort of small visual disruption in front on the other side of the gate up against it. Like, you know what really bad haze outside looks like when you open your door and the whole thing's kind of wavy like that. You're not really sure what it is, but there's some sort of visual screw up on the other side of the gate. Who knows? Maybe it's a graphical glitch in a video game.
So
Do
if
I
this
see 2
door
cats
is
walking by?
Yeah. No. But you
so-
do see Johnny Silverhand's legs walk this way and his torso walk that way.
so if this door is locked, is anybody good at opening locks?
You don't even see a lock. Like you just see like metal framework and that's it. You don't even see how it opens.
Can
But
can I ask? I have the knock spell, which is supposed to be able to open most things that open,
you bet. Sure.
including doors. Do I know if that would work here?
Do you roll for knock or do you just do it?
I just do it.
You bet. You use knock and the gate opens itself up. No problems.
Yep. I'll like
Um,
point my staff forward as I'm on top of the eagle. I'll be like, there we go.
Nice.
Forward.
The
Yeah.
the little visual discrepancy kind of rolls upwards like a person standing up. And there's a clicking sound, just like, and then you can see what it is. It is a fat green thing, a little bit shorter than a human, a little bit taller than a goblin. It looks very much like a goblin, a bright green goblin in a helium balloon made a very ugly baby. And it has way too many teeth and a very bulbous but still football-sized head, right? And it goes, who are you and where did you come from? I don't have clearance. Why are you in there? Get back in there. I don't know who you are, but I know that if you're in there, you're supposed to get processed. Get back in there and get processed. Don't make me get upset about it.
I'm going to say, we're gonna try something. Complete mistake. No, we weren't supposed to be in there. You know, and we're actually like supposed to be out there with you. Deception. Just completely lie.
Dude, you're gonna straight up lie to him. You bet.
Is it technically a lie? Because we're not supposed to be in
And
here.
you know, it wasn't.
We haven't
actually-
committed a crime.
It wasn't a lie until he said we're supposed to be out there with you. like, but prior to that, totally not a lie.
These guys love this.
I want to add to his lie and say, yeah, man, we're not supposed to be here. Why don't you
Look how
cut this
pretty
shit
I
off?
am.
Let us out. Look how pretty I am. Man, I'm pretty.
We need to get out of here. So I'm all going to use my thing again and give you proficiency on that. I can't
Oh,
remember what
man.
it's called.
Then I get expertise, which means I double proficiency
Yeah.
bonus.
So you'll add another plus
I have to
6,
do
I believe
math.
it
It's
is.
something crazy like a 26.
Okay.
Nice, you bet.
It's nuts.
And he goes, I don't believe you. There's never no mistakes ever made of the and the walls start to tremble and shake, and the hallway you're looking at looks like it's made out of solid gold, except the whole thing's very plated, individual like square plates. And they come off the wall and swing at you like giant torso-sized shurikens. Would everybody make a deck save that was in the hallway at the time?
I'm just assuming I was.
I mean, it was either that or be on top of the mushroom.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of flying in the air.
Maybe not you then. Everybody else, though.
Hey, so question, if we're proficient at saving throws, that adds a proficiency.
Yes. Yes. I think all 5e classes are proficient at 2 kinds of saving throws out of the box.
Mhm.
Callum, what'd you get? What was the
17.
nice? You bet. Did anybody get a 15 or lower?
I got just above on a 16.
Woo! Look at you. You bet.
Got a
Rourke,
34.
Wow.
Oh my
Holy shit.
Don't mess
Not only did the
around.
platelets not hit you, but you look badass. Like you don't even move. You just sort of pose around. They go around you.
And you probably grab him and throw him back or some shit.
If you want to make like a follow-up spin, I'm all for it.
Oh, I actually can do that. I have a thing.
Badass.
I
Rourke,
have a
what'd you get?
thing.
Oh, I got a 16. So I'll like
Nice.
Rourke,
He was on
like,
the eagle, though.
panics and like dives to the side. It's not graceful, but it'll work.
Never mind. No, I can't do that. It's a deflection, not a throwback.
Oh, I meant like a DM fiat. I'm okay with
Oh.
it. A dex check like that, you effortlessly like they come off the walls and you're like, oh, I see what's happening. See, I feel like in slow-mo you have time to react like Spider-Man. What do you want to do?
Yeah, so I guess if I can, I'd like to try and grab one and just for an intimidation factor of trying to get us out of as it comes out, just grab it and be
I
like,
see.
we're not supposed to be in here.
I see. Feel free to make an intimidation check at advantage. If you already have advantage for some reason, feel free to, double that. 5e doesn't inherently allow for the stacking of advantage, and I don't understand that.
That is an 18.
You bet. And the little fat helium goblin goes, okay. So I don't believe you, but I also got this thing about still being alive. See, so I'll tell you what. and the plates drop clang onto the ground. He goes, I will stop trying to get you back into the tunnel, and you will come with me, and we will go see Finvar, and he will sort this whole thing out.
Okay. And I
Is-
will drop it.
Is this guy out in the open or is he like in the tunnel?
Oh yeah, he's in the tunnel. He doesn't he walks, but he walks this far above the ground, so he doesn't actually touch it.
So
Um,
just to call out a fun mechanic thing that I'll need to know is if I ever beat a DC by 4,
okay.
I just need to know that because I get cunning points back when I do that.
Oh, good.
I assumed I got it on 34.
You've done that 4 times.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you for that reminder.
So I guess at this point, Aiden's going to drop his eagle
You-
form and
you bet.
follow along with everybody.
You bet. Sounds good.
Summon your eagle powers. Nacho Libre, anybody?
Wait, again?
Oh yeah.
Um,
Did we ever determine who's holding on to that special stone?
oh, you did not. Who has the stone?
It wasn't me.
I think that we should hand it to Callum. He looks like he'd be good at pressing stones against people's faces. That's my opinion.
That's a terrible idea, but I'll do
but,
it.
but don't do it until we tell you to.
Right, right.
Don't press it against everybody's face.
And
just-
don't lose it.
You say that
Not
you're
even,
gonna
not
see
even
him.
my face.
Yeah, right.
So, we need to set up like a special code word for when you do this. So,
Pineapples.
Yes. That's what I was gonna say.
Pineapples.
So you march down a hallway. The hallway is there's a juxtaposition between how small he is and how just ridiculously tall the hallway is. You can't see the top of it. When Aiden was an eagle and his vision was therefore much better than it normally is, he still couldn't see the top of it. You're not even sure there is the top of it. It's tall enough and large enough and voluminous enough. There's wind in here. You march down the hallway for a while, 100 feet, 200 feet. Here's a question. How long until you get bored and start poking him and for questions? Is that something you do? Or are you content to just walk with him for however long it takes?
Um,
I'm asking him if this Finn dude has cookies. Do I get a
He-
curse this time again?
He glares at you. But no. So we did a dry run before.
Mm.
And somebody got cursed with, what was it, blindness?
Blindness.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, going into the new one, did we want to pretend like the session happened? And he went, go into it blind. Yeah.
Maybe I just need glasses.
Yeah, right. Yeah, corrective lenses in the year 2000. Yeah, that's a thing. So actually, it's not even the year 2000 yet, is it? Anyway, you advance down the hallway for what seems like way too long. And eventually you start to hear the clanging of lots of little voices. At the beginning, just sounds like what a stadium of voices sounds like. It's a million voices, none of them, they're all saying something that probably makes sense, but who knows what it is. Everybody kind of drowns out everybody else. And you come to a enormous throne room where lots of little creatures like himself, many of which are different colors, but they're all kind of bulbous little humanoids. They'll look closer to a balloon than a fat person. And they're all sitting on various mushrooms of different heights and sizes. The whole place is gold. The stalks of the mushrooms are gold. The top of them are not. They are normal, mushroomy, fungus looking. But they're all weirdly colored. Bright purple and yellow over here. Hot pink and white dots over there. That sort of thing. One of them is a black and white striped thing, like a pinstripe suit. And that contains the only creature in here that doesn't look like all the others. He looks actually a lot like Fergal. He looks like an old withered human. He's got a beard that runs down to his ankles that is way too big. He's made like brocade art in it. And it sits on top of his lap like a rug. He has eyebrows that go all down like this, run down to his ankles. And he has a shillelagh that looks like it's made out of a snake. It looks very much like it was made out of a snake and turned to stone, not a snake that was carved out of stone. It's way too lifelike to be a carving. Either that or it's a true masterwork. He sees you come out the side with the little guy and he goes, humans. No, wait. And he has glasses. He adjusts them and says, no, wait, not all humans. Anyway, not every day I get people from the surface uninvited. What is it that I can help you with so you'll get out of my domain? I don't mean to be rude. I'm in the middle of a lot. He looks to be in the middle of absolutely nothing.
I'm kind of hungry.
He
You
snaps
don't get
his
to be
fingers
this
and-
pretty without eating a
He
lot.
snaps
so.
his fingers and a meat haunch on a bone appears in front of you. Would they, before you eat that, would those of you who think that would matter to your character that you would know, make what amounts to an Arcana roll to see what you know about fairies and laws and customs and all that stuff.
That'd be druid lore. Yeah.
Thank you.
22.
You bet.
And if I heard you correctly, I think I heard you say black and white pinstripe. As soon as you said that, I'm sorry, but I got kind of locked into Beetlejuice. That's all I'm seeing now.
So what type of check is druidic lore?
That is
It's
like
Wisdom.
Is it
Wisdom.
wisdom?
Yes.
Good. I would have guessed intelligence.
So I got a 30.
You bet.
Not better than that.
Did anybody?
21 for me.
You bet. Callum, did you roll for that? I don't know if you will give it.
No,
your-
no,
Okay, you
no,
bet.
I'm a dumbass.
You bet. So as soon as you come into the space, those of you who are, inclined, those of you who rolled and got the numbers that you got, right? You're clearly in the realm of the fairies, right? There is literally no other place you can possibly be that matches this description. That means that Callum should not eat that food, or that he will owe them a favor. He won't be bound here forever or anything. But as soon as he puts that stuff in his mouth, he'll owe them a favor. You have a fraction of a second to stop him. Do you stop him? Look at him going with the meat right now. Look at
Yes.
him.
Absolutely, just smack it out of his hand.
What the hell, man?
Callum
I'm
and
hungry.
Callum and I have traveled a little bit. We've, beat up an old woman together. So
They did.
I'll just go, Callum, we don't want to owe people favors, remember?
But I'm hungry.
So I'll pull whatever rations I have out of my bag and be like, all yours, buddy.
Now,
Thank
Callum,
you.
are you sure you want that? That's like a piece of dried bread. He handed you a fresh, steaming hot ham shank with glaze on the edge of it. It
But it's-
smells amazing. It looks amazing. Are you sure?
It's on the floor.
But the floor's clean, see? And 5-second rule. What kind of man are you? Like,
I am particular about one thing,
what's that?
and that is the 5-second rule. I don't believe in it.
No kidding.
That is the Callum quirk.
See, I thought you meant you, Ed, didn't believe
Oh,
in the
no.
five. Oh no! Look at
So
that.
I got dogs. I breathe in dog urine all the time.
He's gonna reach into his little side satchel and pull out a good berry and give it to Callum and say, "Here, eat this instead."
You bet.
Mm. Point of order, I'm totally distracted by this, so
However, I
don't
do
even-
look
I
at
don't even remember
Nora.
what that is.
I do look at Nora and Ronan because I assume they are also enticements. Be like,
No,
no,
of course.
no.
And they look
No.
at you like, Mom, it's meat.
No.
It's
I will get you
heated
something
meat.
extra special later. No.
They look. Do you have to convince? That's not the kind of thing you'd have to roll for? Is it that you have command over them?
I mean, I pretty much, yeah, they're my
Alright.
pack. I get to
Okay.
have pack tactics with
Yeah,
them,
right.
so I'm assuming
Nice.
I am the alpha.
So they look very unhappy about the whole thing. But I mean, they look at you with big sad. Boo-hoo
I know.
eyes,
I'll
but
get
they-
you something better later. I promise.
Yeah, better than fresh ham with glaze.
Good boys.
So he goes, sorry, force of habit. What is it that I can help you with other than
Well,
food?
If you think you're busy, we're busy too. We're trying to save the whole island of Ariu right now. And
Yes,
you're kind of
I heard.
taking
Island's
a
gonna
lot of our-
explode.
yeah, well, you're taking a lot of our time. And listen, if you're not gonna help us, if you think this is distracting, let me tell you about a few rules I'm gonna use to bring everybody from Ariu right here into your space if Ariu sinks. And I'm gonna start reciting all these loopholes and laws and all kinds of little things about the pact between the
Snag here, I've pulled it. And he goes,
Ishi
all
and
right. Look, how can I help? I did ask how I can help, didn't I? How can I? I'm not sure how I can help. You're mortals, and something about pride and independence and blah, blah, blah. We solve our own problems.
We're looking for Dew.
He would be here, but two things. One, you can't have him. And two, what do you want him for?
we need him to help us so the island doesn't explode, so we don't do all the things he just said.
Didn't you hear me? You can't have him. And I honestly, I would give him to you if I could, but ancient fairy law says I can't give him up. He's committed way too many grand transgressions for us to let him out of isolation.
Rourke, you're a fairy lawyer. How do we do this?
Rourke is like like shuffling through his knowledge. He's like reading, like he has like little like kind of like mini notes on his like staff.
So on a meta level, you would need to know what exactly it was that he did in order to know how to get him out of it.
Okay. So I'm just gonna ask directly then. Well, it depends. What did he do?
He goes,
What are his transgressions?
well, I mean, other than the like thousands of instances of him fucking with mortals, which I don't particularly care about, but fairy law does. You are on our land after all. I understand that you think it's yours, but you're wrong. There's the part where he stole my bread. There's the part where he burned my castle to the ground. There's the part where he stepped on my favorite mushroom and ruined it. You know how long it took me to grow that? Mushrooms don't grow on trees, you know.
Well,
And he just-
actually,
and he goes on and on and on and on.
That was just a roller coaster of things. He stole my bread. He burned down my house. He kicked my mushroom. It's like, are
Do
these
you remember?
equal?
Yeah.
Do you
pretty sure
remember
that
Boss-
well actually was actually the first thing that Fergal has actually said so far.
That was great. Do you remember Boss?
actually.
Do you remember Boss Nass just going on the laundry list of what Jar Jar Binks did that was not okay? Kind of
Yeah.
like that. But collectively, it all amounts to, with one exception, there's the two exceptions: screwing with humans, which is not strictly speaking against fairy law; it's just disruptive. And most of it boils down to destruction of property. The big wrinkle here is that we're talking destruction of King Finvara's property, and there is no fairy like him. As much as there are laws, it is a monarchy, and he gets to decide when laws fall in and out of favor. He doesn't just delete them so much as kind of sway the poor fairy people into no longer giving a crap like a blue law.
So can I ask kind of about like two paths I'm thinking about, and like if they're if I would
Yeah,
know if
sure.
they're viable?
Yeah.
So one is like to tell him like hey, we'll do a favor for you and you'll do this favor and let us have this guy. Or like number two, to say like, look, this guy should be counted as a mortal and not like part of your realm because he spent so much time doing things in the mortal realm.
Okay, sure. The second one will take a roll. The first one won't, like a convincing roll.
Okay.
As a what amounts to a lawyer, you know that second one's a long shot, but it's not completely off the table.
Okay, I'll go for that then.
You bet. Sure.
So I'm gonna begin, saying like, look, sure, he's like destroyed property, but he should be held accountable within the mortal laws. He spent so long there, he really counts as a mortal. And that'll be a 27.
I was going to give you Pathfinder too to give you an extra
Oh,
boost. So
thank
another
you.
+6.
Okay, awesome. So 33.
No kidding. Wow. So show of hands, how many of you are Aishi? No, just the three of you, huh? You bet. He thinks about it. He goes, you make an interesting point. But aren't three of you Aishi as well? Do you get treated as mortals? Should I treat you as mortals?
I cast my lot in with the mortals, yes.
Good to know. And he eyeballs Rourke and Aiden like,
Rourke is like caught up at this point. He's been like talking so long, and he's just like caught up in it, and he's just like whatever it takes to like win his point. So he's like, yeah.
sure. And he turns to Aiden and he goes, should I count you as a mortal? Is all it takes to abandon your Aishi self time spent with mortals?
Mortal realm is important to me. I've sworn to protect a particular section of it. So yeah, I'm willing to make that claim.
Okay, sure, fine. You cannot have him. But I'm willing to let's call it a reprieve. You take him with you back to the mortal realm. I traditionally would not let you take him away, but I understand that the island is about to explode, right? So I don't have to worry about you bringing him back to me, because if you pass, I will just come get him. And if you fail to save the island, he will come back to me anyway. So you're welcome to take him with you, but if he becomes a pain in your ass, that is your problem. You are assuming all responsibility. If you try and keep me from getting him, I wouldn't do that. I don't like mortals.
Once he's served his purpose, he's all yours.
Fantastic. Is there any, hold on. And he snaps his fingers and Dew appears. You've all seen him, right? He's traditionally like a couple inches tall, the color of midnight, and looks very much like a little mushroom person. Little wings on the back, mushroom hat on top of his head, right? He looks like a little pixie covered in mushrooms. But right now, he's the size of a beach ball. He looks very much like somebody has swelled him on purpose. He's so round that you can see his skin barely able to contain the stress. His skin is literally ripping in places. His eyes are the size of dinner plates. He is clearly in a world of pain. You're not even sure he's capable of speech. He is crying. He can't lift himself. And he goes, there you go. He's your problem.
What's wrong with him?
Well, I'm torturing him, of course. I didn't agree to stop doing that. He's your problem. Take it. I also didn't agree to get you out of here. So I hope you got an escape plan. Because personally, if your island blows up, it'll grow back. Nature has a funny way of settling. All that will really be lost is the gales. And again, I'm okay with that. So go on, shoot. You bother me.
All right. So just kind of look around for an exit.
Right, because there's an exit sign right there.
Right. You're kind of hoping for it.
I'm gonna go pick up Dew because I'm assuming he can't probably walk very well.
Not so much. When you touch him, he squeals, and part of him just like pops like a grape underneath. This releases some pressure, which hurts, but then gives him a moment of reprieve. And after he wails a noise that I will not make into a microphone, he goes, "Ah, ow, help me!"
All right. Let me try to cast remove curse on him.
You have,
See if
oh
that-
right, I was like, of course you do. You're level 17. Like,
Yeah.
you bet.
It's a level 6 spell in this setting. Rolling the spell casting check, and let's see, 6 + 8, DC 14, and I just rolled 16, so it's a success.
You bet. He doesn't deflate instantly, but he does start to deflate like a helium balloon. You've cut a little tiny hole in, right? And after a couple of seconds, he goes, he's normal size again, and he's just got all this extra skin. And he goes, ow, ow. Wow, you must really need something if you're going to help me. He's got his ego back instantly. He's like, what do you want?
So I would assume we'd know enough about fairies to know, like, we could tell him at this point, you owe us a favor, and that means something, right?
But yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You
So
don't need
I'm gonna do that immediately. Like, you owe us a favor.
I mean, can't we say I don't?
You owe us a favor, or we can bring you right back.
No.
in.
All right. And he looks at Finn, like shoots Finbar in an eye, and like a glare. And you watch for just a second as like electricity crackles because they shoot each other a glare. Finn looks so unhappy that he's no longer in pain. And he goes, all right. What is it that you need?
Come with us.
Yeah, okay. Well, where to?
Do we know how to get back?
Did you say that out loud?
I just more of as the group and to the DM. Do we know how to get back?
Something to do with the stone. We were
Yeah.
told to hold on to it, or else we couldn't get back.
Right. And he goes, all right, I'll help. You know, fine. He looks, I mean, he basically spits those words out, but he goes, all right, fine. What?
Well, as you've probably heard, the island's about to explode. Everybody's been saying that for a little while now.
Yeah. McDermott or something. Yeah.
McDermott, we're on our way to take care of him, but the trouble is he has some defenses that we need a little help circumventing.
Okay.
And
Oh, I see. You want my help. Right.
yes.
So that's dirty pool. See, because I can't actually get rid of those defenses. I can bring that nasty hate bubble he's got down, but those creatures are on your own. I don't have the power it takes. I can't affect a Dolahan even if I wanted to, which I don't, but I would, because as somebody stressed out and he glares at Riona, he goes, I do technically, I guess, owe you one. So I would help with that, but I can't. The best I can do is get rid of the bubble.
That is
Okay.
enough, I'd say.
We've got Callum. We're fine.
Now,
Can
you said you're not able to deal with them, but do you know how to deal with them that maybe one of us could do?
Yeah, kill them.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I'm
you
good at
can't
that.
you can't actually kill a Dolahan, but I understand that if you take they can be broken apart through impact. I've also heard that you can kidnap, like you can take the spines they wield as like weapons for yourselves, but I don't actually know if that works. Which means you should totally give it a shot.
Okay.
So real quick on a meta level, we were supposed to stick his face with the stone and he refused to do it. We got-
If he refuses,
Yeah.
once he agrees to help you, Spare was pretty sure that he would try and chicken out of it in some way. He tried to weasel out, and when that happens, you threaten him with the stone by like pressing it into his face.
So, Aiden is going to take advantage of his Eyes of the Gods
Yep.
ability with Raven.
Yep.
And he is going to get right up as close as he can to this guy's face.
Yep.
And he's going to say, so this is what we're going to do.
He looks
You know-
very uncomfortable.
You owe us a favor.
Yes.
You're going to get us back to the mortal realm, take down this bubble, and then we'll see where you stand with our favor.
Well, no, hold on. I owe you one favor. That's two things.
Well, you have to get us back to help us, don't you?
Yeah.
It's just part one of a two-part favor.
Oh,
Well, here,
no. I owe you one favor. I do you one thing.
well, here,
Rourke,
My intimidation check is 23.
You bet. Rourke, as what amounts to a lawyer of the past, he is technically correct. Like,
Yeah.
he is technically correct.
Okay.
But is probably he doesn't want to, but he is technically correct. One for one. The whole like, well, this favor isn't worth that favor isn't really a thing in fairy law. You did a thing, you get a thing. That's it.
So maybe we could argue this point of we got you out, 1 point.
Right.
We took away your curse, so you're not in pain anymore.
Right.
2.
Right.
Get us home, help us out.
And he looks at Aiden, who intimidated him very well, and he goes, look, I see you're all scary face McGee here, but you see that guy back there? He's going to torture me literally forever. Right? Like, you got nothing. Like, he's going to torture me forever.
maybe we don't need your help to get back. Here,
So
can I see our stone real
Oh.
quick?
here's what I think. I think I will help you get home, and I will help you with your hate bubble. And I'll even throw in knowledge of how to deal with the stone if you talk to that guy about some sort of release program. He's not going to let me go forever. It's not going to happen. But you go make a bunch of character witnesses from a bunch of mortals would go a long way towards some sort of work release program or time off or something. You go talk to him, and I'll help you to the maximum capacity of my ability.
Okay, I think it's time. I'm just gonna look right at him and say, how do you feel about pineapples?
He's going, wait, what? and Callum, although you had like, he actually brought us down. And he goes, all right, damn it, Spare, and you appear back on the plains.
That's what I thought, bitch. As I'm tossing the stone like that. Because I think I did that.
Nice, you bet. When you appear on the plains, you are Callum, you are still in like mid press. And he reels, he looks like he would pull backwards, but he can't. He's like stuck. Actually, from the smell, he's probably seared to the stone.
Oh,
You are right next to the bubble. The bubble has encapsulated the entirety of the Hill of Tara at this point.
Oh. So we need to move.
Right, and it is expanding in your direction. It will be upon you in like 30 seconds.
So the thing you were gonna do?
Yeah. Take the stone off my face. Ow, 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 ow. And you watch him create water and just splash it on his face for a second. He goes, oh, right. Hate bubble. And he snaps his fingers, and the bubble doesn't disappear, but a hole appears in it. And he goes, look, I didn't double cross you or anything. That bubble's way bigger than it was last time I saw it. Also, you're not going to tell anybody this, but I appreciate you not thinking I caused it. Everyone thought it was my fault. And just because I'm anti-human. Anyway, he's just crazy. You guys think I'm bad. That dude wants to blow up the whole island. What the hell? So
Yeah,
so
right?
privately, I'm actually on your side on this one. Don't tell anybody that. I'll deny it, and I will curse anyone who says it. Anyway, you got a hole. Go on. Go save the island or whatever.
How far from the hole are we?
About 20 feet.
I'm gonna pole cast his ass into the hole.
Until you pick him up and you hurl him.
Mhm.
And as you pick him up, he goes, no, wait. And you throw him at the thing. It's not a setup. He flies through empty air and lands on the grass inside of it. And the specter creatures inside, the Slua, promptly tear him apart.
Oh.
Well,
There are
Oops.
the bit
So-
in less than it takes to say it, you are left with bits of him, none of which are larger than my hand.
All right. Get through the bubble, I guess, before it closes since he's dead.
Yeah, go.
Yep.
You bet. Does anybody not do that?
No, we run.
I'm
No.
going with everybody.
We run. No, we
You
run.
bet. You and
Seize the day.
the bubble does close right behind you. Good news is you're inside of it. And it's a bubble, not like a mist. Bad news is you're stuck in here.
Yeah.
Um,
Guess there's only
so-
one way out.
the Slua are a whirlwind, just a giant cyclone of faces and teeth. They're not really individual. There are so many of them, they blend in and out of each other that you're not really looking at an individual collection of threats so much as a sentient anger meatball that hovers around you. What do you want to do? You can
How-
sort of see Dermot through it on top of the hill. Two Dullahan, one next to him on either side. And he isn't actually doing anything. He looks like he's talking. You can't hear him through all the gnashing teeth and everything. You probably can't hear each other. But he doesn't look like he's doing anything. He's got his hands on the stone, and it's just a big rock. There's nothing special about it except for the part that it's glowing. It's a deep ruddy red, like what freshly spilled blood looks like. And he looks like he's talking. But aside from that, he's not doing anything. He's got his back to you just enough that you can see his lips move, but you're definitely behind him. He probably doesn't know you're here.
how
What do you
far
wanna
away
do?
are we?
From him,
Mhm.
maybe 100 yards, maybe. The Hill of Tara is big, but it's not enormous.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Hollow, which will create a like 120-foot like total circle distance, 120 feet by 120 feet distance of like hollowed ground where Fey and undead cannot enter without
Okay.
making a save.
Question: do as Aishi, you count as Fey?
No. Humanoid.
Yeah,
Good second. You bet.
and that'll be kind of our path to him, so we don't have to be walking through these things.
You bet. Sounds good. So you split the sea of monsters, right?
Yeah.
Just like the.
I'll
Do you roll
pound
for
my
that,
staff to the ground,
Okay.
and lightning will like
Ooh, very
break
cool.
across the area, and it'll be like bright pieces of lightning. And where it hits the ground, there'll be like verdant soil will like pop up from like the
Oh,
ground.
very cool.
there.
You bet. This repels the creatures, but they're right there, right? Like if that spell breaks, do you have to concentrate on that, or you just do it?
It does. It looks like it says duration until dispelled, so it looks like
Nice.
it does just last.
You bet.
But they can go into it. They just have to make a save.
Okay, very cool. What kind of save?
Wisdom DC
Ooh.
17.
Like whatever it is, I bet 5 isn't enough. Like, so they fail. Do they get to try again on their next turn, or is this a now they're stuck?
They're stuck now.
No
Yeah.
kidding. Very cool. So they whirl and gnash harmlessly at you right outside the bubble. As you advance in this swath of verdancy that you've made up to the top of the hill, you get within about 50 feet before the Dullahan ride forward and make a defensive wall between you and him. This prompts him to turn around, keep as much as he can. He keeps both of his hands on the stone, and his eyes are glowing red globules of what looks like, you know, the red in a Sith's lightsaber.
Yeah.
It looks like that. And fire starts to roll out of them in your general direction. The Dullahan don't directly attack you. They take their whips and go like this, and very much suggest that you won't pass them without words.
So what we'll do is when that happens, I'll pull out my sword and go, Callum, this is why we're here.
And I'll say, do I know the guy's name, by the way?
The guy on top of the hill is Dermot.
Dermot? Yeah. Do I know his name
Yes.
personally? Hey, Dermot. Why you gotta mess up with somebody so pretty? Why you gotta destroy me? Come on. Can't you just back off? I'm too pretty to die.
A version of you glimmers into existence next to the Dullahan, who looks exactly like you if you were homely as hell.
And I say, man, you're pretty.
You cannot shake this confidence.
Right, good for you. Callum, what do you wield for a weapon?
Battle axe.
Okay, sure, but I mean, I'm gonna need stats for the battle axe.
Oh yeah. 1d8. It's versatile, so 1d10 if it's two-handed.
You bet.
It's a crit if you roll a 16 or higher.
You bet. Like, I don't generally care.
As
but
long as you don't turn down a fight.
You bet. So the homely looking you takes a step towards you. Are you and Rihanna in the front?
Yeah, I think
I
at this-
definitely am.
At
You
this
bet.
point, we know what we're here for.
You
we
bet.
we are we are the fighter.
Wow. You said it does what? A 1d10 if it wields it with both hands?
Yes.
Do you traditionally wield your axe with both hands?
Hell yeah.
I thought so. You bet.
Reckless as hell.
Oh, that's gonna hurt. So you take 34 points of damage
Oof.
as it swings at you and hits you with what appears to be a copy of your axe, and it gets a crit, which is how come that damage number is that high.
So keep in mind that those that have not been hit yet, you have 17 temp points to use.
Nice, you bet.
Oh,
Um,
can I sit in here and do something?
oh, by all means. Oh yeah, you're definitely in a
I'm
common
going
situation.
to raise my battle axe up in the air and like just scream in my wonderful old voice, which I'm not going to do on mic.
Okay.
That's it, boys. Let's go. And I think my stand with me ability, which gives stacking bonus per 50 enemy hit points on the field.
Nice,
+1 to attack rolls and +10 temporary hit points.
nice. And how many do you get?
+1 for like every 50 hit points, enemy hit points.
Oh, I see. 50. Okay, you bet. So you get. I don't want to get all meta here for a second, but yeah, you get +1. What was it? Armor class?
No, +1 attack rolls and
Thank
+10 temporary hit.
So you're looking at a cumulative +10.
So 100 temporary hit points and +10 attack rolls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Holy
for
shit.
Did you say that was for everyone?
That's for everyone.
Oh my god.
That's awesome.
You bet. That's badass. So Alan, I imagine you don't even feel that then, do you? You're like,
Actually,
oh, look.
What's really funny is I have invulnerable skin, which is resistance to non-magical.
So you take half. Oh wait, no,
Yeah.
you don't, because the axe is magical. Never mind.
It is magical. You were correct. Yep.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't feel much though.
Yeah, right. Do you Oren, what does that look like? Do they look any different? Do they like shimmer or get a little bit bigger or anything like that?
Let's say there's like a little bit of a shimmer thing. Since we're being rolled, maybe extra glittery.
Okay, sure.
Hey.
Hey.
I feel like my dogs just looked a lot more intimidating.
Yeah, right.
No
Callum,
glitter on the dogs.
The like shadow Callum also looks a little bit glimmery. You're not confident, but you're pretty sure he
Shit.
benefited from that. So So I know what you're doing, and I know what Callum did. Callum was like, "Hey, whoa, dude, not cool." Riona, what do you want to do?
I am just going to go straight in for I forgot what they're called already. The dull
The
hands.
Dullahans?
Dullahans.
You
I
bet.
know that we have to get past them, so I'm going straight in.
You bet.
I'm going. Oh, so I
so-
will.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
is there something we need to say first?
Yeah, but don't worry about it. I'll do it after.
So I'm gonna go ahead and hunter's mark one of them.
Sounds good. You
I'll
bet.
say the one on the right to keep
Sounds
things
good.
straight for myself.
Aiden,
And
would
then,
you- go ahead.
oh, nope, go ahead.
Aiden, would you roll a d4 for me? And then Riona, what were you doing?
So then I am going to go ahead and use my stick test. So it
Stick
is
test.
so it is an ability because I am a Fianna.
Okay.
And I'm going to pay my 2 to activate it, which means I get double movement.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that immediately, and when I get up to the Dullahan, I'm going to use blindside, which essentially, so I'm just going to quick get up to it, drop down, and slam into his knees to drop him, or not drop him, but push him off balance,
You bet.
so that everybody who attacks him gets advantage on their attack until the beginning of his turn.
Oh, it's going to be better than that. So you have to roll to hit him with that?
No, it just happens.
Oh, awesome. Then you knock him off of his horse, which means he's prone and off balance, which means we're going to have to stack advantage now. So you're going to roll with advantage plus another +2, plus whatever other bonuses you've got. Aiden,
All
what did
the
you
things.
get?
Got
4? Oh, excellent. So, I mean, you're not an idiot, right? You can see the glow coming out of the stone. You need to figure out what to do with it in the next 4 rounds, or you will lose the island. It will absolutely explode. And I mean, yeah, all right, the island will be dead, but you won't even see that because the blast will incinerate you into way less than dust.
Next
Um,
rounds.
So,
Speaking of, what do you want to do?
so Aiden's going to try to angle this to where he can not hit Riona or Callum, but he wants to step to the side a little bit, and he's going to kind of twirl his staff a little bit with a little flourish, and then hold it out, and he's going to cast Sunbeam
Okay,
right through.
what are you
And
aiming at?
I'm basically just trying to clear out some of these enemies
You bet.
that are in our way. So it's 5 feet wide and 60 feet long.
Okay,
And
Wow.
creature in line has to make a Constitution saving throw. And undead and oozes have disadvantage. I don't know if that applies to anything.
okay, sounds good. Yeah, roll for it.
Okay. Let's see. And that's the Druid lore check, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. That is a 23.
Nice. So you blast through the Dullahan. Now does Sunbeam do damage or do they get out of the way?
It's
he-
it's radiant damage.
That's what I thought. Okay, you bet. You blast them for how much?
If I roll, it's 68. That's 28 damage.
Nice. You bet. So you blast them both with that. Fergal, what do you want to do?
I'm thinking that I am going to try to I think I'm going to try and call lightning and see if I can't just strike the stone with lightning and just try to break it asunder before the magic is triggered.
No kidding. All right, cool beans.
Yeah.
I roll to see how well you do. 'Cause,
Yeah, let's
I love that mechanic, by the way. Rolling for Rihanna, absolutely. Absolutely. I misunderstood. I thought blindside was an attack, but it's not.
No,
a
it's its
secondary-
own ability that
Right,
goes
my
with my
apologies.
movement. Oh no, it's fine.
By all means, we'll get back to you in a second, and then I'll ask Rourke what he's doing. My bad. Fergal, how'd you do?
let's see. I succeeded the DC to cast Call Lightning.
Yep.
And let's see. I believe the way Call Lightning works, I can get a strike off in this first casting.
Yep.
I know it's like a concentration. I have to brew up the weather. Let me double check the description here.
You bet.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. Oh yeah, no, I can strike the stone immediately. And keep in mind, I don't know exactly what this is what this will do. If this just blows us up early, I'm sorry for that. But kind of a desperate situation. I've been
It
sitting here
could have
looking
been
at
more
my,
desperate. You could have rolled. He could have rolled a 1 on that die. It could have been worse.
oh yeah. So the lightning strike is targeted for rather like an area in the vicinity of the target. So
Okay.
just coming striking down right at the base of the stone there.
You bet.
And everything within the 5 feet of the area that the lightning strikes, being the stone, must make a dex saving throw, but it's a stone, so
Yeah, right. It's not going to do that.
yeah,
Assume
and
you hit the stone.
yeah, and 3d10.
Nice.
5, 6, 8. Okay, so 5, 6, 8, 19.
Nice. You bet. The lightning seeds into the stone from the sky, and there is a crack that appears on the outside of the stone, and what would appear to be very much be blood starts leaking out of it.
Ooh.
You definitely have Dermot's attention. He
Interesting.
howls like a wounded animal, but does not let go of the stone. And he doesn't come towards you either. He refocuses on it, right, and steps towards it and shifts one of his hands without taking it off the stone. He slides it across over where the hole is and starts glowing.
Hmm.
Riona, I don't want to rob you of your attacks. My bad.
No, that's fine. It,
you would-
I guess I didn't say that it didn't take the place of my other stuff. So I just want to double check. We get an additional +10 to all our attacks. Okay, then for me and my hounds, I didn't roll below a 27 to hit.
Wow.
I'm assuming one of them's a 39 to hit.
Wow. And you're attacking the Dullahan you knocked onto the floor?
Yes. So as he
Okay.
goes down, she will come up and do 1 strike, second strike. The first strike will be for 43 damage due to sneak attack and hunter's mark. And the second attack will be for 21 damage due to hunter's mark and all that.
I love how you say, but as he's coming down, like, you don't even wait for him to hit the floor. You're like, no. You cut him up while he's in the air. That's
Yep.
like,
And then I will go down onto one knee, and Rona and Nora will both use me as a springboard to do their attacks. And so Ronan will hit for 19 points of piercing damage, and Nora will hit for 14.
Wolf Ball is the greatest sport ever. As they just rip that Dullahan to pieces. The spine clatters onto the ground. I mean, it's a spine. It clatters, right? It's real bones. It's got a little bit of blood on it. Definitely looks like it came out of a human. The Dullahan is, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell if it's alive since it doesn't really breathe to begin with, but it's definitely not moving. Like, Rourke, what do you want to do?
Yeah, so Rourke will like move up, and with like the lightning crackling behind him, he'll like stomp the staff again, and he'll say, for your crimes against Eriu, you will be broken of your clan and all connections, and you will be left for whatever remains. And
Well, hold on. Are we facing the end of the world and you're telling him what his punishment
Yeah.
would be? I
Yeah.
love it.
I mean, you
Or
gotta, if you're
you-
planning the world to like survive, you gotta like keep these systems and
Yeah, right,
you know,
right,
going,
right.
you know?
I think it was
Um,
Nick Fury who said, "Act as if the world won't be like it'll still be here tomorrow." I'm pretty sure that was him.
Typical
Yeah,
bureaucrat.
Yeah, right.
Got it, you know, yeah. The moment we start saying that laws don't matter, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
when the world
The
really
world's not
ends.
even here
Um,
anymore, is it? Right?
Yeah. So I'm using a class ability Pass Judgment, and I'm buffing it up with some of my evocation points. And so what it is it's gonna be a DC 17 Wisdom save for everything within 20 feet of the main guy and the
Okay.
main guy.
Yep.
And if they fail it, they'll have -2 to their AC, and they'll have disadvantage on all ability checks and saving throws.
You bet. What kind of do you roll for that, or does he get a save? He gets a
He
save.
gets a Wisdom save, DC 17, and
Hey, I
everybody,
actually
it
pulled
also
that
hits
one off.
everybody in 20 feet of him.
At least I think I pulled that one off. He rolled a 19.
So
good.
pass.
You bet. So that's the end of the round. I think everybody went. Callum, we started with you, right? We went all the way around. Everybody got a turn.
Did
you
Aiden?
did? Aiden, no, did I skip you?
I don't know. All I did was tell him he was pretty. But I think Aiden. Did you get
Aiden,
a
did
turn?
I skip you?
I went, but I would like to
Ah.
my turn before Callum this time, if it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. But you did get something in the previous round, right? Like,
Yes.
I didn't. Okay.
It was
Okay.
very early on in the thing. It was, I
I'm
think it was
paranoid.
right after Rihanna.
Okay, you bet. So at the we're at the start of the next round. That fire in his face didn't stop coming. Would everybody make a Constitution save to roll through that, or a Dex save to get out of the way, whichever one works better for you?
So it's like this huge wave that is emanating out of him.
Right.
That's cool.
Like
That's cool.
like a tidal wave of flame, right?
Nice.
20.
Yes.
20 to do what? Stand there and take it, or get out of the way?
I'm
Of
not
course.
getting out of the way. I'm standing there and taking it.
Like-
Too pretty to move fast.
I got a 20 to dodge.
21 to die.
Yeah,
I have a 13 to dodge.
Ooh, okay. Rough.
I can beat that, Daniel. I got an 8.
Ooh.
Rough.
Yeah.
We oldsters are not moving so fast.
No.
Wow. You both
Pretty
take,
sure y'all were behind me though. So
you both take 42
Right.
points of damage as the fire washes over you.
Woo-wee.
at least she had some temporary
Yeah.
hit points.
This is when
Yeah.
you really appreciate Rihanna. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
You
saying I did
smell
piddly as
awful.
compared to Odrin.
You know, after that 100 temporary hit points it starts to not sound like so much.
Yeah. Are you Arin the cheat? I guess I didn't notice that.
Yes.
That's very cool. Because all of his dice are loaded, you know. Like,
Of course.
Well, he can, like, I have luck of the fade. That's why I did that honor.
I see. We're at the top of the round, and it sounds like Aiden wanted to go first. I'm game. You bet. What do you want to do?
So he's gonna walk up to Callum and give him like the baseball or the jock like tap on the butt and say, "Go get him." He's gonna say, "See that guy right there? Go get him." And whenever he taps him, he's gonna cast Foresight on him. So
Okay.
that's my 9th level spell. You're gonna have advantage on all of your attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws, and anybody that attacks you has disadvantage.
Nice.
Nice. So you see two things. You see the wound on the stone is healing, and that the verdancy behind you is withering. Neither of those is complete yet, but presumably by the start of the next turn, the next round, excuse me. Fergal, what's up?
I am continuing to hammer the stone with lightning, as he does
bet.
not seem to like that.
You bet. Sounds good.
And the spell is still continuing from last round, so I don't need to make a check for it this time. Just going straight to rolling the damage at the stone.
You bet.
That's 3. Whoops, off the table. Roll again. That's the 3. That's 5, 8. And that's 5, 13.
Nice. You bet. Don't feel bad. I've lost count of the number of times that I've hit my dice tray with my elbow and thrown my dice all over the living room.
Oh, yeah.
In the
I've
middle
Seen
of
it
five
happen
fight.
minutes.
twice.
5 minutes of looking for all of them,
Like,
or you
yeah.
find a D4 a day later when you step on it.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. They're like Legos. Yeah, it's a good thing I don't have shag carpet. Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Callum, what do you want to do?
I want to cast, or I don't know if it's caster, but use Champion Shout.
Okay.
So once
Like,
per long
I'm
rest.
pretty! Like that?
No, or fuck you guys. Eat a bag of dicks, whatever.
right.
So once per long rest, I'm able to use a superhuman roar. Anything that's CR 9 or less will run away.
No
Anything
kidding.
CR 10 or higher will come at me one at a time. Now, if somebody
What?
joins in the fight with, if somebody joins in the fight with me, then the one at a time thing is gone.
Okay.
I hate to be the guy, but this can only be done outside of combat encounters.
Oh, it
Like to-
can't. Well, shit. Okay,
Yeah, it's like done to, like, set up combat encounters.
I
Like,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Well, in that case, there was something else I thought of doing. Oh, hell with it. I'll just charge in. How close am I to the to Dermot?
60 feet, give or take.
I don't think I can make it quite that far. Even if I salmon leap.
Salmon leap like the ladder from Ultimate Ninja Warrior, like that.
Yeah.
Well, what does that look like from Callum? You leap and then you kind of kick like a fish in the air. What makes it? A
Yeah,
salmon
yeah.
leap?
I look like a dolphin. Yeah, exactly.
Now I'm picturing a strange half breed of a dolphin in Johnny Bravo, like a dolphin with the hair, and
Yes.
it's bad.
Dolphin Bravo, if you will.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like undersea's greatest bro and kind of a creep. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna jump over the dudes in front of me and attempt to get to Dermot.
You bet. You're gonna jump over the guys in front of you.
Yeah, that's what the salmon leap does.
You bet. Do you have to roll for that, or you just do it?
No, I just do it.
Nice.
Yep.
You bet.
I'm 10 feet away from him, right?
At least.
Right.
Yeah.
At least, yeah. I just
So you-
gotta have a 10-foot run and start, and
You
then
run and you hurl yourself up through the air. You go way up over the like shadow you, the homely, ugly looking one. Though I
Yep.
suppose that you can't see it as ugly because you're sheer narcissism, but everyone else can see a difference. You fly over that guy to Dullahan and your friends. And how far does that take you?
it takes me an additional strength amount, so an additional 22 feet beyond the 10 that I ran.
You bet. Sounds good. So it gets you 32 feet. Is that right?
Mhm.
You bet. You land just
Halfway there.
under, yeah, right, just under 30 feet away from him. He is still does not focus on you. He hears the thunk. Everybody does. But he still focuses on the stone. Orin, it's your turn. What do you want to do? On the upside, you look like you're making headway. On the downside, that stone's not broken yet. You're running out of time.
They're still dudes like they're on these horse things, right?
Only one of them is on a horse right now. Riona knocked the other one clean off and then fucked it
All
up.
Well, I'm actually about to pull the exact same thing she did.
Oh yeah?
Quick test and blindsiding. And knocking. And yeah, knock him off balance is a free action.
Badass. You bet.
It's so awesome.
So you're like, and check. Right. And they don't have yeah, you just do it, right? Because it's ability. So you knock the Dullahan off of its horse and
Yeah.
it falls over. So now it's on its ass. It has off balance gives it disadvantage, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's prone and off balance. So that would be disadvantage with an additional -2.
Okay, well, sweet. I'm going to
On top of your ridiculous +10.
take those plus
We are epic.
You should be. Like,
bad is what this turns out being. So I'm gonna swing my battle axe down on you.
okay.
14. Okay, so hold on. 22 hit, I assume.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Okay.
Last
30.
time I said no, when somebody asked me if a 39 hit, they just about shit their pants. That was great.
Because
Well, how much damage was that?
working on that. It was only 10.
Okay, only 10. Bummer.
Yeah. But as a bonus action, because I have the apple juggling feat, I'm gonna pull out a dagger and throw it straight at McDermott's ass.
Nice. How much damage does that do?
Well, if I hit him, I assume like a 30 something or another hits,
Sounds good. Yeah, roll for damage.
and it's not too much, but it'll be about 8.
Nice. Is there any magic in that dagger?
No,
And-
it's just a regular dagger.
And this may seem like an odd question, but what is the dagger made out of? Metal, presumably, but I mean, what
I
kind?
assume iron.
Iron, you bet. You hit him in the ass and you go clean through him with that dagger like a butterfly shrimp. And the knife sticks in the stone and he slumps onto the floor dead.
Whoa.
Nice.
The good news is he's dead. The bad and the bubble disappears. The bad and the creatures. The bad news is the stone doesn't look like it's powering down. I mean, it does, but not so much that you're gonna win. You're gonna need to either destroy it or move it or something.
If only we had a portal to Tony Stark it through, but
What do you want to do?
if I can step in and just like for good measure throw at least one more lightning bolt at it before
Yeah,
anybody else
sure,
tries
go for it.
something.
You bet. So you're out of combat, but you've got what amounts to 3 rounds left of time, which I suppose in real world terms is about 18 seconds.
That was much better. That's 22.
Nice. You take a big sizable chunk out of the stone. It cracks, it sputters, like if it was metal that was just recently struck, hunks of stone fly through the air and land in pieces around you. The stone is not broken enough that it's dust, but you can watch the color leak out of it very quickly. Presumably you have won the day, which I'm kind of surprised by, to be honest. There is a crackle of energy, and the red in the stone rips out of it like it was a living creature and slams into each of your chest cavities.
Oh.
Do you want to try and prevent that from happening? You don't have a lot of time, but you've got a split second. You bet.
I think I would avoid that, whatever it is. Yeah.
You bet. Make deck saves or con saves if you think you're tough enough to just ride that out. Up to you.
I'm going to hold
15.
the stone that I still have in front of me
No kidding.
to
Okay.
block it, or
You
send
bet.
it somewhere else, or whatever the hell it does. I assume that's Dex.
With the stone, you're not actually going to make a roll. You're just going to hold up the stone.
Okay.
How'd everybody else do?
I got a 15.
To what? Get out of the way or?
Dexterity to get out of the way.
You bet. Did anybody roll a 50? Did anybody roll less than a 15?
Nora did.
Oh
What did-
man.
Which option did you choose and which one did you take?
I went for Dex because she can kind of share mine.
You bet.
And she rolled a 1.
Rough. Rough.
So I might be losing a hound.
So, so you didn't roll the one of the wolves did.
One of the wolves did. No, I got a 25.
You bet. So Nora, you can see a deep, deep hatred in that wolf's eyes that was not there a second ago.
Oh.
Nora, no.
Did anyone else roll less than a 15? Excellent. Callum, the red light hits the stone, and it gets it looks like it's incredibly hot, but you don't actually feel anything. You do hear the shriek of Dermot's voice in it. Presumably you have some fraction of his soul in the stone. He shrieks in a lot of voice, but it swings back and forth from "let me out, I'll kill you," "let me out, I'll torture you," "let me out, I'm gonna kill you." Right? He just kind of goes back and forth, and it doesn't sound like he's going to run out of air. There is a small crater where the stone previously was, with a lot of lightning smoke coming out of it, but a dent in the hill of Tara beats losing the island.
Are the enemies still there that were there before?
Oh no, the creatures and the Dullahan, the one Dullahan remains because apparently Riona killed it. The other one rides away as fast as it possibly can the moment that he dies. They abandoned the cause instantly as soon as you split him in half like that.
So my attention is instantly going to focus to Nora because
Right.
I will know very quickly that this is not right.
Mm-hmm.
She bristles with rage. She is deeply, deeply disturbed.
Aiden's gonna walk over to Nora and kneel down and put his hands on her, and he's going to cast Remove Curse.
You bet.
helps.
Roll. Now, have you cast that spell before? Not like in the sit down, but I mean in general. Is your character familiar with how that spell works?
Yeah. Yeah. absolutely.
Okay. You should probably know then that when you roll to cast that, if you fail, bad things will happen to Nora. Okay, you bet. You're dealing with a very impressive curse right now.
All right. I'm not even joking. It's an extra 20.
Yeah. All right.
If ever I'm going to get one.
You purge the dog of its deep. I mean, you struggle, right? It is a fight to reach into the creature and grab a hold of this seething hatred that's left over from Dermot and pull it out and wash it over into nothing. But you do it after a couple of minutes of struggle and sweat. It happens, and Nora returns to her plain old ordinary, bristly, still kind of angry self.
I'm very glad because I rolled because I'm I'm going to have to take her out. It would have been really bad.
Oh.
And that's it. That was it. I mean, I'd love to play for another hour, but people got lives. That was fun.
Yeah, that was great. You ran that wonderfully.
That was fun.
Yeah,
Hey,
thank you.
thanks.
That was really
I-
fun.
I really
good.
like the setting in this system.
Oh, good. I'm glad you
Yeah.
like it.
This was
Yeah.
a fun group too.
It was, yeah.
This was very fun.
So I don't want to like put anybody on the spot or try and sucker anybody into sticking around for a group going forward or anything. The idea was a one shot, but there's been a lot of chatter in my phone about how cool this group was from various people in this group about other people in this group. So also I emanate those feelings. So if you guys want to like make a thing out of it, I'm game.
If
Yeah.
I'd be welcome, yeah, I'd certainly come back around for sure.
Oh, awesome.
Was
Um,
not
have-
hurt my feelings.
Have you
Oh,
played
no.
this? Hold on, let me kill my virtual thingy so you can actually see things I hold up. Blah blah blah. Choose your
Oh,
own
Five
background.
Torches. Heard
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that.
Okay. It uses a similar mechanical system than you do as you do for Magic.
Hmm.
To roll the cast. Only their roll the cast is 10 plus the level of spell, and I like yours better because mathematically it's a little bit easier on the player.
Right.
And Five Torches Deep doesn't have spell level slots or anything. You can cast all day, but if you fail, you roll on this. They call it a magical mishap table. I'm going to call it bad stuff table.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
And those range from Orb of Darkness surrounds the party to the spell affects the wrong target. Two caster is stunned. Two caster takes 1d6 per spell level and damage. And it's a system where hit points are much lower than normal, so that's much worse than it sounds.
Right.
Or all nearby non-magical metal melts. But my favorite is quote significant collateral damage end quote, which is just vague enough to be a real
Just
problem.
vague enough to be awesome.
Give the
I-
DM a lot of leeway there.
Discretion.
Yeah.
I did want to make a comment though about this this setting and how
Yeah.
you guys did magic. Because I generally play a caster. I didn't this time because I wanted to challenge myself a little bit. But I really like you guys' mechanic of if you don't succeed on a spell, you don't lose the spell slot.
I do like that. Yeah,
Love that.
Right.
Absolutely love that
that's
mechanic.
very cool. Five Torches Deep they don't have spell slots. You can cast all day. If you fail and roll the one, that bad table happens.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
If you fail but you didn't roll a one, you lose access to that level of spell until you get a long rest. But not all of them or anything. Just
Huh.
which is a little bit crunchy, and in my experience, players either love that or hate it.
Right.
Like it's a very polarizing thing, and I like yours better. I'm still not sold on the concept of spell slots. Gandalf never says, "Hey Frodo, I'd help you," but I ran out of brain RAM.
It's true. Yeah. It's
Then
very
again,
much
he's an archangel.
I was gonna
and,
say he's
you know.
also like a pseudo deity. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we are mere human mortals.
Yes, but you are level 17 mortals.
That's true.
yeah.
It's got to
Oh.
count for something.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
right.
if we can still get exhaustion, we can probably use some spell slots.
True.
You know, it's a good thing you took those Dillahunt down that fast because they deal damage in exhaustion.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
That's
that'd be bad.
nasty.
That's exhaustion is definitely something I've tried to bring into Heroes of Tara a little bit more.
I saw
it's
that. I think that's cool.
such an
Yeah.
insidious little thing that doesn't get used enough, I think.
Oh yeah, I have bad guys. I have a group where they have a constant monsters that they constantly deal with, like the same one. They currently have a quest to eliminate a kobold hive that has taken over a major city, mostly through intimidation and fear. Like they've just figured out there's only actually like 12 kobolds, but they took down what amounts to Metropolis through very duplicitous bullshittery.
Classic
and-
kobold.
And one pseudo dragon. That's it. But that pseudo dragon deals damage in ranks of exhaustion. If he hits you, you take 2.
Oof.
Oh goodness.
Like so, that pseudo dragon is
Ow.
enough to fight off an army by himself, assuming he's got a breath weapon. So he just goes like this and hoses everybody in front of him. Yeah, he's mean. And
That's a big deal. Yeah.
the players are trying to figure out. They're like, how do we? He's also got like exceptionally high passive perception, so they're not going to get the drop on him probably. So they finally decided they'd come up with a plan. They'd put him in a position where him getting out of the way wasn't possible, even if he knew they were coming. They attract him to an area where he doesn't have a lot of horizontal wiggle space by finding his personal weakness and then poking it until he comes to them. And then they fall out of a blimp on top of him. like they fall through the air with a muzzle, right? Like,
Surgical strike.
right. And I was like, you know that if you miss, you're gonna splat, right? And they were like, look, if we miss, he'll hose us in exhaustion and we'll be dead.
Yeah.
Might die from the splat. We will die from the exhaustion. We'll
Yeah.
take the bet. Like,
Hell yeah.
Can't argue with that logic.
right. So
That's pretty good.
they've had a custom dirigible made and everything. And they
Oh
just gonna
wow,
float to the top and just fall out the bottom. Like,
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
YOLO.
yeah, right. Like they're gonna make a halo jump on top of a creature that can absolutely kill them.
Love it.
That's what it's all about.
I don't think I've ever been that proud of that group before. So this
Anyways,
is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got to bounce. Thanks for a wonderful time, folks. It was fantastic.